GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The U.S. stays the course. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. The Biden administration still holding out hope for a new ceasefire and hostage deal between Israel and Hamas, even after the top Hamas political leader, their lead negotiator, was killed in a pre-dawn airstrike in Iran, where he had met with the supreme leader and the new president. Iran blaming Israel and warning of a harsh punishment. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, traveling in Singapore, wouldn't comment directly on the assassination reports, but told reporters nothing takes away from the importance of getting to a ceasefire.
We've been working from day one not only to try to get to a better place in Gaza, but also to prevent the conflict from spreading.
The Hamas leader was killed after an Israeli airstrike in Beirut killed a Hezbollah commander in retaliation for Saturday's deadly rocket attack in the Golan Heights. 1 week after pro-Palestinian protests in Washington during the Israeli prime minister's speech to Congress, U.S. Park Police are asking the public's help to find 6 people accused of assaulting a police officer and vandalizing federal property.
The pro-Hamas demonstrators defaced statues in the Freedom Belt near Union Station with red spray paint. Graffiti included the phrase, "Hamas is coming. Lawmakers are outraged." Now, Congress serves as a super city council overseeing the District of Columbia. Lawmakers want briefings about the demonstrations. Members are dismayed that prosecutors dropped half of all charges leveled against those who police arrested.
Fox's Chad Pergram, a former U.S. Green Beret accused of organizing a failed effort to remove the Venezuelan president from power in 2020, has been arrested in New York. A federal indictment now unsealed in Florida, accusing Jordan Goudreau and a Venezuelan partner of violating U.S. arms control laws by assembling weapons and sending them to Colombia for a failed cross-border raid. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
The official 97.1 FM Talk Weather Center forecast and excessive heat warning in effect through tomorrow. Partly sunny. It'll be a very hot afternoon. Our high today at 100. Clear to partly cloudy. Thunderstorm in spots tonight, low 80. And then clouds and sun. Gusty thunderstorm. A hot day tomorrow. We could see some flash flooding, damaging wind. A high tomorrow afternoon at 98. I'm Steve Williams for 97.1 FM Talk.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-513-4444. 800-513-4444. 800-513-4444.
If you're thinking of selling your home, I'm sure there are two things you want: certainty and the most money, right? Hi, it's Mark Cox, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know the only agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. Here's why she she should be your first and only call when looking for an agent. Gloria doesn't make empty promises. No, she provides written guarantees. Now, what does this mean for you? Certainty. Now, certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she'll buy it. To get your guaranteed price, call St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Biden's open border policies are crushing Missouri. Yet, the Jeff City Swamp is boosting a program subsidizing health care for illegals, the same program behind Planned Parenthood's discount abortion scheme. Thankfully, Iraq War veteran Andrew Bailey is on guard. Like Trump, he's a fighter. As your Attorney General, Andrew Bailey won't stop fighting illegal immigrants and Planned Parenthood. Call 314-340-6816 and thank Andrew Bailey. Stand For Us PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. StandForUs.com.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine & More. There is so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer and thousands of wines. Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
What we're witnessing is a sugar high. It's like, the Democrats and maybe some independents are relieved that it's not Joe Biden. They're like, thank God it's somebody. Thank God it's Harris. But what happens with every sugar high? We all crash at the end of it. And they're going to crash once they start dissecting her record.
Scott Jennings is having a good couple months over on CNN. People dipping in to see what CNN has to say with all of the craziness that's taking place. And I think he's a pretty well-spoken conservative representative. I've said before that I don't tune into CNN or MSNBC and ever see anybody who really correctly represents my take on any particular issue. And, maybe the left can say the same thing about Fox News, although I know that a lot of people who are on Fox News on the regular that you probably don't like because they're always there talking about their leftist point of view. Scott Jennings, he's not doing such a bad job over on CNN. I've enjoyed listening to him when he's talking. I guess I looked at the wrong clip. That was 2016 spokesman Brian Lanza. Let's listen to the Scott Jennings clip from CNN here on the Trump race. Let's listen in.
First of all, Donald Trump didn't cancel this debate. The Democrats canceled the debate that Donald Trump agreed to when they defenestrated the poor president of the United States, who we still, where is he? A. B, it's the Democrats who have put the debate details on hold here. I'm sure they're going to debate. They have to debate, and they should debate. And, Trump right now has according to the Wall Street Journal, a 51% job approval from his time in office versus what you get out of Biden and Harris, which is somewhere in the mid-30s.
So where is the momentum? Is the momentum just in a complete and total wave right behind Kamala Harris? There are a few things that are about to happen in the news cycle that should, if history repeats itself, and it traditionally does, continue to give Kamala Harris a little bit of high ground. The first is going to be her VP pick. A lot of people are thinking it's going to be the governor of Pennsylvania, Shapiro. I have no idea who the pick is. Every time they mention J.B. Pritzker's name, I'm like, why would you do that? You trying to win Illinois? What are you trying to get out of J.B. Pritzker other than money? And, I'm thinking J.B. Pritzker's going to throw money your way one way or the other if he feels like it can help get the Democrats the victory. Is he going to spend more if it's himself? I just don't really understand. Brad, can you see any upside to having J.B. Pritzker on the ticket?
For the Democrats or for me?
Yeah. That's
No, I don't know what the upside is to him, other than if your plan is to pander to, which it seems to be this, they're really going after the suburban single women vote. And J.B. Pritzker, the biggest draw that he has is what he's done with abortion in Illinois. And I feel like that is their quote-unquote upside to having him on. Outside of that, I don't know what the appeal would be.
I don't see it. I don't think he's going to be high up there, but Shapiro seems to be one of the leading candidates. And so you're going to find out who that vice president pick is. I think it's going to be kind of similar to what the Republicans did right before the convention comes. We're going to find out who that VP pick is. There's going to be a lot of noise surrounding, a lot of excitement. And then just like the J.D. Vance thing, a lot of the Oppo research starts to dump out. They try to figure out what sticks, and off we go. But then you have the convention. I don't really look at I'm not looking at the convention for the left as a way to bring people in, because I don't really feel like, unless they make the whole thing big scary Trump, I don't know what they have that's really unifying even within their own party. We were listening to Kilmeade before the show started here, and I don't know who the guest was, but he was talking about the possibility of Shapiro being on the vice presidential side of the Kamala Harris ticket. And they're talking about how they played some sound for someone's like, it would be kind of risky to put a Jew on as the vice president. And I'm like, what? And it's true, because the Democrat Party, they have a dramatic conflict of interest within the members of their own party on what's taking place in the Middle East. And it's not like you can look at the Middle East and be like, well, that issue's going to calm down. It's escalating. It's escalating, over the course of last night. When they take out was he the leader of Hamas?
Yeah, I don't know if he was the guy, but he was one of the guys.
And that was 12 hours after they took out number 2 in Hezbollah or whatever it was. I mean, this issue is being pressed, and they're not going to subside on this issue in the Middle East so that the folks in the West can get their political issues straightened out. Sides will have to be taken. In Chicago, where this convention is being held, they're going to have Democrats protesting the Democrat convention because the Democrats inside the convention aren't going to be leading the charge in the way the protesters outside want them to be. And we've seen what they're capable of. I mean, these are destructive people. And I mean, I don't want to sum it up too simply, but they're pretty ignorant. The protesters who have been activated for this particular cause have their lines crossed a little bit on their ability to support, wasn't it Netanyahu? Didn't he refer to the people who are out here like gays for Palestine or whatever it is? And he's like, you don't get it.
Yeah.
How come those facts don't matter? I mean, why are you not out protesting against Hamas to release the hostages and to stop the need for conflict? Because Hamas started it. It's really that simple.
Man, it is a wild mindset. I haven't delved too much into it, but it has to do with intersectionality. So they have to divide people up into the oppressed and oppressors. And so whenever they look at anybody that's having success, Israel's having success, they believe that those that are around them or under their influence are not having success because of what they're doing. So they just look at Palestine and Hamas and these organizations out there, and they're like, well, the reason they're not having success must be because Israel's bad, and therefore we got to, side with the quote-unquote underdog. They don't look at that and say, well, the reason they're not having success is every ounce of aid that Israel has sent, they've either used it to build rockets, terror tunnels, shot their own citizens, hid under schools so that they could basically wipe Israel out. That's the whole goal of Hamas. That's the whole goal of Hezbollah. They all just want to see Israel wiped off the face of the map. The people on the left that support those groups don't understand that that's who they are, and that sometimes the people that aren't having success aren't actually the good guys.
Let's listen to Trey Yingst's report on this last 24 hours or so in Israel.
In the northern part of this country, continuous rocket and drone attacks taking place. Just last evening, another Israeli civilian was killed in one of those attacks. Just earlier in the month, you had that drone attack launched by the Houthis in Yemen, another Iran-backed organization. We were here on the ground in Tel Aviv when that explosion rocked the city, killing someone here. You have these Iran-backed Iraqi and Syrian Shia militias that today are threatening new attacks, not just against Israel, but against American bases across the region. And then you have this X factor of Iran and how it will respond to this strike against its capital overnight. We're talking about 7 different fronts here when you include the West Bank.
Wow.
A really unprecedented moment for the region and a country that is at war for the past 300 days.
Trey Yanks just said that there are 7 different fronts that Israel is facing. That's a lot of fronts. For
the forces in Israel
like
are tired. We've been talking with not only the defense minister, Yoav Gallant, but also soldiers on the front line in Gaza. We were in Rafah, that southernmost city, at the beginning of the month, speaking with soldiers there as they battled Hamas on the front lines. There are really major questions about what comes next, but Israeli forces have to remain on high alert. It's part of the reason that notice to airmen was issued, closing the airspace in the northern part of this country. And remember, there are 3 tiers of air defense systems here. You have the lowest tier, the Iron Dome, you have the David Sling, and also the Arrow missile defense system. We saw all 3 in use when Iran attacked Israel earlier this year. All of those systems on alert today over concerns that Iran could directly respond against Israel following this attack that killed the leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, overnight in Tehran, and also that significant strike, the first time, we should note, since this war began in early October, that Israel has targeted Hezbollah in the Lebanese capital of Beirut.
So, yeah, the stakes are pretty high. Tensions are very high. The natural question for people like you and me is, well, how does America get involved? Secretary Lloyd Austin commented.
I don't think war is inevitable. I maintain that. I think there's always room and opportunities for diplomacy, and I'd like to see parties pursue those opportunities. If Israel is attacked, we certainly will help defend Israel.
If Israel's attacked, we will certainly help defend Israel. We're getting to a point right now where we're going to have to ask ourselves as a country. Voting is going to be open here before you know it, because I think in Illinois we've got 40 days of voting. Election day is November 5th. It's right around the corner. And we're going to have to elect a president, Donald Trump, who has spoken very firmly, first of all, in support of Israel, of course, but also in action and in word, talked about the importance of containing Iran and not subsidizing Iran the way that we have under this current administration. Kamala Harris is going to have to mend 2 wings of her party that she needs to show up and vote for her on November 5th. When you hear Secretary Lloyd Austin say, I don't think war in the Middle East is inevitable, but if Israel is attacked, we will help defend. How is it that Kamala Harris is going to continue to serve both wings of that Democratic Party and actively pursue the defense of Israel? This is a huge conflict within the Democrat Party, and I think it's important that Kamala Harris speak on that issue. She needs to be asked about this. She needs to be on record about this so that her voters understand, do you agree with Secretary Austin? What happens if Iran goes straight in on Israel? I mean, we've already seen Israel be attacked by Hamas out of their neighbors in Gaza. Where are you at, Vice President Harris? I would certainly like to know. Our friend of the show here, Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, also talked about this issue. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Hezbollah should have been out of that region 20 years ago because there was a UN Security Council resolution, 1701, said they're supposed to withdraw, in fact, disarm Hezbollah north of the Litani River. They haven't done that. Second, I think what you're seeing is you, not to be a pessimist, but I think you're starting to see an escalatory cycle that is going to get quite dangerous, because if Hezbollah does respond, be it Haifa or it goes into Tel Aviv, then the Israelis got no option but go really, really hard back into Lebanon against Hezbollah. And I think that is very, very probable right now. I don't think Hezbollah will take their foot off the gas at all.
This is an issue that is not going away in the Middle East. It's incredibly consequential for the global community, and we need to know exactly where our presidential candidates are on America's responsibility, involvement, commitment. What is it that America is going to do as this continues to escalate? I'm not 100% sure. I don't really know how Kamala Harris threads this needle. And when you hear commentators, as we did leading into the show, talking with Brian Kilmeade, the sound they played, saying that it would be problematic for Shapiro to be added to the ticket for Kamala Harris because he's Jewish. I mean, what a time to be alive, to be looking at the Democrat Party not being able to reconcile that issue. It caused me to drop my jaw when I heard that. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised by that. Joe Concha is going to join us when we come back. He's a Fox News contributor, of course. He's got a new book out, and I want you to get it. Progressively Worse, Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's Donkeys. It is available now. But I want to ask him, Kamala, we have talked to Joe Concha over and over and over again about the viability, to use a word, of Joe Biden. Well, he's not in it anymore. And I've been saying he's not going to be the guy, and he isn't the guy. Is Kamala the girl? Is she the one who's going to get the nomination at the convention? And can she beat Donald Trump? Let's ask Joe Concha when we come back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Listing your home in Illinois, I want to connect you to the best team in the business, the Jen Teskey RE/MAX Alliance team. Reach out to them and start the conversation. Whether you needed to list your house yesterday or if you are thinking, gosh, I don't know, maybe sometime in 2024, will 2025 be a good year to sell our home? You're kind of in flux. Both of those conversations and everything in between, Jen Teskey and her team with RE/MAX Alliance is there ready to take your phone call and help guide you into the best situation for you. They know exactly how to position your home for top dollar. They understand the market. They are experts when it comes to Illinois real estate, and they will guide you through the process to showcase your home in its best light for those who see your house and want to make it their home. You can call the Jen Teskey RE/MAX Alliance team at 618-541-1010. 618-541-1010. You can text them there as well. They are incredibly familiar with the Edwardsville, Glen Carbon, Maryville, Troy, Collinsville areas and around there. And they're just a phone call away. 618-541-1010. You can find them online at jenteskeyhomes.com.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the Protecting Your Retirement Educational event, Tuesday, August 6th. It's at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. Seats are limited, so go online at retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas and Bob with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering what to do with your life savings? Are you concerned how a major market correction will affect your retirement? Would you like to have a personalized, structured index of the monthly income you'll receive in retirement and how to never outlive it?
Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any more losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, August 6th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. Go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all three with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Can Missouri Republicans trust Bill Eigel? President Trump doesn't.
President Trump criticized Eigel for deceiving voters by using his image in campaign ads. Trump even threatened legal action against Eigel. Why does President Trump oppose Bill Eigel? It's because Eigel's campaign is bankrolled by the same rich liberals who are funding ads that attack Trump's record and character. Bill Eigel is a dishonest politician who is bought and paid for by never-Trumpers. There's a better choice. Conservative Republican Mike Kehoe is a businessman and job creator. Kehoe has a bold plan to provide relief to Missouri families who are getting crushed by Biden's inflation. As our governor, Mike Kehoe will eliminate the state income tax to put more money back in your pocket. Mike Kehoe is the conservative Republican we can trust.
Cops for Kehoe is responsible for the content of this advertising, paid for by Cops for Kehoe, and is not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Is yours? Did you know that there's an R value associated with insulation? To find out your R value or for a free insulation estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Mark Cox here. I've put together my Missouri voter guide just for you. Visit 971talk.com to see it because the future of our state is happening now. Get my voter guide at 971talk.com and go vote.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
We who believe in the freedom to live safe from gun violence will finally pass universal background checks, red flag laws, and an assault weapons ban. We who believe in reproductive freedom will stop Donald Trump's extreme abortion bans, and when Congress passes a law to restore reproductive freedoms, as President of the United States, I will sign it into law.
Oh, what you know, Joe. Joe Concha, Fox News contributor.
Well, he's also the author of Progressively Worse, Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's Donkeys, which you can get right now. And he's with us. Joe, welcome back. It's a new ball game from the last time you and I had a conversation.
Ever so slightly, right? I mean, man, can you imagine the last 5 weeks? What's happened? You know, you had the debate, right? Then all these calls for Biden to drop out. Then the Supreme Court rules that Trump actually does have some immunity. And then they said, oh, by the way, that Jack Smith case, documents, you're going to throw that out now. The Judge Cannon did that. Then there was only an assassination attempt on Trump's life. And then you had places like MSNBC still saying to this day, well, we're not really sure if he got shot. I mean, it's unbelievable. The U.S. Secret Service just completely falling apart. Then Kamala Harris is installed as the Democratic candidate as Biden drops out. He still hasn't taken one question as to why he dropped out. And she still hasn't taken one question on anything. So that's where we are at this point, and it's quite a time to be alive, Annie.
You're 100%. I was on vacation for 2 of those weeks. Wow. I don't know if it was a mistake or if it was the smartest move I made, but it was incredible to see the news headlines. You listed things there that could have been the top 5 headlines of the year that actually kind of got lost in the mix, like a lot of the dismissals of Donald Trump's legal problems. Those are huge, too, as well. And we're supposed to just believe that Kamala Harris, we're just going to rid ourselves of every wrong or everything that's ever been on her record ever, and she's just supposed to be the new not Trump. You think she can pull that off?
No, I honestly don't. I think that in the end, social media is this great equalizer. Fox News is a great equalizer. The Annie Fry Show is a great equalizer. So while they try to portray Kamala Harris as some sort of moderate and pretend that all of her past positions don't exist, it's just not going to fly. Because you can't hide the video, right? This isn't like Joe Biden, by the way, in 1994 in the crime bill, and there's this grainy video of him talking tough on crime. This is literally just a couple of years ago. And she looks the same, sounds the same. And when she says things like, I want to end the fossil fuel industry, I want to abolish ICE, I want to never even think about exploring Remain in Mexico policy or a border wall, or I want to keep sanctuary cities. I think they work. You want to end the private insurance sector? How's that going to work out? Oh, but you also want to give health care to illegals? You believe in late-term abortion? You believe that men should be competing against women? She said all these things. It's all on video. So I think once she debates Trump, then I think all of that gets exposed the same way Biden was exposed and he could blame, almost being dead. With her brain is broken, and you take her out of a teleprompter, Annie, and you take her out of prescriptive remarks, and it's the same thing as Biden. She has no ability to speak extemporaneously, and these positions are her positions, and she can't run from them.
Donald Trump did for me, unimaginable in the Joe Biden debate, and he let Joe Biden be the headline, and it took Joe Biden out of the race. Donald Trump was masterful in that last debate in a way that I did not expect him to be that disciplined. I get real worried about thinking about another debate with Kamala Harris because, he loves to compete. He loves to fight. What do you want him to do in that eventual debate should it happen?
No insults. Don't bring up DEI. Don't call her dumb. Don't play their game. Just simply stick to the 16 or 17 policy positions that I laid out, most of them, I think, and just hammer on it every time, and then speak to the American people directly. Like, almost pretend like she's not there. You're not debating this person. You're taking your case right to the American people. You say, hey, Pennsylvania, she said that she 100%, her words, that she wants to ban fracking in your state. That will devastate your economy. She says she doesn't want it now. She's saying that only to get elected. She's going to change her mind once she gets back in. We all know this. Hey, Michigan, how do you like that electric vehicle mandate that Biden and Harris keep pushing, because that's going to put thousands of auto workers out of work? Hey, Arizona, how do you like the fact that Kamala Harris let 10 million people into this country, hundreds of terrorists on the FBI terror watch list, and she's compared our border agents to the KKK. So how do you feel about that? And if you agree with those positions, then great. Vote for my opponent. Don't even call her by name. If you don't, then I'm your guy, because you already saw what my presidency looked like. And if you compare my presidency to this administration, I think it's an easy choice.
We're sending that. We're sending that advice straight to the Trump campaign. We're speaking with Joe Concha right now. I know we only got you for a few more minutes here, but I think that your new book that people can get right now, Progressively Worse, you're talking about today's Democrats versus the Democrats of generations before. There's an identity crisis out there with a lot of voters, and the left. I was just talking about the problem that they have, especially with the conflict in the Middle East as it continues to get more tense. That issue is not going to go away. What do you make of people right now having that existential crisis on the left, and what to do with it should they choose to vote for Kamala Harris?
I mean, I think what we're seeing here is a sugar high, right? They got rid of the old man, and I don't care who they would have put up there, whether it be Kamala Harris or Josh Shapiro, Gretchen Whitmer. I think in the end you would see people just rallying around that person, because it was an anybody but Biden type of thing, because, well, they knew that he couldn't win. So as far as the existential threat, I think in the end, this still is about what I just talked about, how they still own their record on inflation, on crime, on the border, foreign policy. I mean, has it looked this unstable in decades? I mean, it feels like the whole thing's about to blow up. And once people start to get serious, and we're not talking about RuPaul's drag queens anymore, and that was her first interview, by the way, Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee, and you take away all the fluff, I think then in the end, at least in those swing states that matter, Trump wins, and he wins quite easily.
Do you think Kamala Harris has a better shot at a victory over Joe Biden?
Over than Joe Biden?
Yeah.
No, I just don't. Because with him, he could at least kind of relate to these union workers in places like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. And I don't see how she connects with these people, given her past policy positions. And again, once you take her out of the teleprompter, she's not a likable person. Like almost her entire staff has turned over at this point. And you hear the horror stories. And again, this is a person who didn't receive one vote in 2020 when she ran for president, not one vote as a Democratic nominee in 2024. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, it completely. Joe Concha, thank you for being with us. We know you got to run. I want to encourage people to get your new book. It's out right now, Progressively Worse, Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's Donkeys. Looking forward to listening into it. Thanks, Joe. Good to talk to you.
Thank you, Annie. Take care.
You as well. Bye-bye. He's a Fox News contributor. You can check him on Twitter, X, at Joe Concha TV. Speaking of, every single time I have a guest on the show, and I can identify whatever I choose to identify with them, but their Twitter handle or their X handle, every single time I say it, I have a quick panic attack. Do I say X or do I say Twitter? And did you see, who was it, tweeted at Elon Musk? I think it was Gavin Newsom, off the top of my head. I think this happened over my vacation, and said something disparaging about ever since Elon Musk bought Twitter, and then was like, all hell broke loose. And Elon Musk's response is, "We really hate it when you dead name us." And it's just like,
this is so great.
Set, match.
It's amazing.
Did you see Kamala Harris's rally yesterday?
I saw parts of it. I
A lot of
didn't see
people
the
there.
whole thing. Yeah, a lot of people. You know what I saw is I saw a video that after the music was done, that people were getting up and leaving.
It doesn't matter though.
Mm-mm.
I mean, listen, it doesn't matter if the people who vote for Kamala Harris even know who she is, if they vote. If Megan Thee Stallion comes and shakes her booty on the stage and becomes a draw to fill an arena full of people for Kamala Harris, if that same poll can make people show up during voting season or on election day, it does not matter. And I think that that's something that can be easily overlooked by people who are like, oh, they were just there to see Megan Thee Stallion. If they were, and they'll still translate that to show up to vote, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. The question then becomes, if they're just there to see Megan Thee Stallion and then they leave when the politics part of it starts, are they even really going to be bothered to show up to vote?
Maybe. More likely to. I mean, these are low information voters exist on both sides.
Oh, yeah.
I know that Rush Limbaugh coined this term, and it's a very important thing to pay attention to, and he was smart as per usual to do so, but to highlight people who get all worked up in like October. And then they go vote because it's trendy, but they don't know what they're voting for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these are the people who are like, I got to get me one of those Obama phones and my Obama money and stuff. Like that was a repeat message that had been sent to voters to say, you got to vote for this because you're going to get that. Then they go vote, and then they're like, give me my Obama phone. None of anything after the vote matters to anybody. They just need the vote.
Mm-hmm.
Which is when we had Scott Pressler on the show yesterday. Encourage you to check that out on the podcast because he was very descriptive in how you can become a part of the solution. Yes, in red Missouri. Yes, in blue Illinois. How you can help where it matters. This election will come down to counties in swing states. Swing counties will decide who becomes the president in 2024. And he was very descriptive. He's earlyvoteaction.com. Know it off the top of my head. Have the app on my phone. You can go be a part of the solution by connecting right there. But you got to go out and get the people who don't have as much information on your side of the aisle, and you got to tell them why they got to vote. You got to be involved. You got to participate. It's not enough to vote. We all have to do our part to get people registered, to make people aware of what the situation is, to have real meaningful conversations with people who are, I mean, have you ever talked to someone and they're like, I'm not voting, they're all crooks anyway? That's a lot of people who think that.
Yeah.
They want to keep the system as far away from themselves because they don't want it to rub off on themselves. They're disgusted by it, probably rightfully so. But their solution is to not participate.
Right. And ironically enough, that solution to not participate, that solution not to get involved, actually perpetuates the cycle that they hate. You know, I was listening to another show the other day, and this.
What?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
It was after our show was off the air. Okay.
I thought you just podcast our show over and over and over.
Yeah. I just listened to this, just go over and over and over. No, what can I do better here? But I was listening to this person was all worked up because they didn't like the candidates that were on the ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it was Joe, even if it was Kamala, Trump, whoever, they didn't like it. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, but did you get involved in the primary?
Yeah.
You know, this idea that there's I don't think the moderate middle is as big as everybody thinks it is. I think it's there. But this idea that there's this moderate middle out there, it's people who are complacent that don't vote in the primaries. And that's why you get the most extreme candidates out of the primaries, because the ones that are most involved in the primaries are the ones that are most, wonkish on politics. They're the most involved. They want the most out of this. So they get in there, they push the issue, they get their candidate picked. And then those of you that don't participate in those things, you go, why do we have these crazy people as our candidates? If you look at our candidates as crazy. And it's because you're not involved. It's because you don't vote. It's because you don't educate yourself on the voters, and you just wait until October of the presidential election year and you jump in there and you vote. I mean, it's a self-perpetuating cycle. The fix to the issue that everybody sees in politics is the people.
I'm glad you brought up the primary, because our YouTube poll for today, which I went back and forth about asking this because it's kind of isolating, but I know the people listening to this station are very passionate about it. And so I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to weigh in. Who do you support for Missouri governor? Of course, we got 4 options. I picked the top 3 that are running in Missouri on the Republican side: Ashcroft, Eigel, and Kehoe, in alphabetical order. And the 4th option is you're not in Missouri or you're supporting somebody else. So who do you support for Missouri governor? I think that they've worked very hard to delineate themselves from each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see how, in some ways, the messages from pick any 2 have kind of teamed up against the other one. There's a lot of that taking place as well. But you do have the opportunity in Missouri to set forth a direction that the state is going to go for the next 4 years, and it starts in the primary. Of course, you're going to show up on Election Day and vote for that governor party of choice come November 5th. But right now, you got to pick the guy who you want to represent you. And, maybe you're listening and you're supporting the Democrat, whatever. That's someone else. Or you're not in Missouri. Ashcroft, Eigel, and Kehoe. Curious where our audience is. I understand that Kehoe has been on the show multiple times when I've been out. I think Mike Elam generally gets him in.
Generally has him on, yeah.
We've had Ashcroft and Eigel on multiple times, and we're going to see about getting them back on the show. I know that some of them are asking to come back on, so we're trying to figure out how to fit them in before next Tuesday. But who do you got? And if you want to come on to the YouTube chat, come make your case for the candidate that you really want to see take that victory on Tuesday. The election is Tuesday, so you got to be prepared for that. Like G-Wibs, he says, I'm in Illinois. I'll take whoever loses. And that's been, I'm like trying to figure out how constitutionally we can just, J.B. Pritzker, you go run for vice president. We'll take whoever loses. First runner up, you get the state of Illinois. It's a bigger state. It's a big mess. Let us know what you think. Annie Fry YouTube channel. Also, if you want to support one of those and you want to tell other people about it and you've got an X account, go out there and repost our live broadcast on Twitter. All the candidates are tagged in it, so everybody's got equal access to it. We're not trying to tip the scales. I truly don't have... people have asked me, like, Annie, who should I vote in the Missouri governor race? I'm not here to tell you who to vote in the Missouri governor race. I'm sure that Mark Cox and Mark Reardon have... I know that Mark Cox has a voter guide out. I don't know if Reardon does that, but... I didn't even really endorse in the Illinois governor race, and, I was happy to support... We had all of those candidates. Mm-hmm. They all came in. They all came on. I don't... I'm not really big in endorsements in general. It's not... I don't really want to tell you what to do. I'll tell you what I think about them, and then you can kind of put that together with what you think about them. But you're capable of making that decision. I've met all of them. I believe I met Kehoe at the governor's ball that I emceed a few years ago. But I think you have a lot of great options. So I'm curious. I want to learn from you today. You got to go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel to vote, though. Let us know. Ashcroft, Eigel, Kehoe, or you're not in Missouri or you're voting for someone else. That's the poll for today. Let's take a quick break. We'll get Wiggins America in here. He's got unspoken rules for men. Yeah, okay. Let's see if Wiggins America has some sage advice for you men out there and the women who love them. We'll be right back.
I don't know.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Couldn't even see a movie show. So what you know, Joe?
RulerFoods.com. Go shop at RulerFoods.com and schedule a delivery. Boy, it's nice to be able to save on your grocery bill and still conveniently have it shipped right to your door, maybe to your office, wherever it's convenient for you. Hey, there's a lot of Ruler Foods on both the Illinois and Missouri sides of the river. And when you go shopping in Ruler Foods, you quickly understand, this is the place to save money. And they have the name brands that you love. They have Kroger brands that come at Ruler Foods prices. It's very simple to shop. It's, one of those put the quarter in the cart stores, and then you get to have your free access to everything, of course, that's in the store, but great deals that go along with everything. Sometimes the deals are so great that I can't even talk to you about them. Right now, what I can tell you is they have Heritage Farm leg quarters sold in a 10-pound bag, 59 cents a pound. Seedless watermelon or cantaloupe, $2.99 each. Seedless red or white grapes, $1.27 a pound. And delicious fresh cherries, love them, $2.99 a pound. Stock up your fridge with fresh produce and the greatest of groceries at for a lesser price. Go to rulerfoods.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You entrusted a nursing home with the care of a loved one, but they violated that trust. If your family member has been the victim of nursing home neglect, call Onder Law at 844-BED-SORE.
It's time to get your body in shape for the warm weather, and Victory Men's Health can help. Mark Cox here for my friends at Victory. They've got semaglutide for ladies and men, and all you need to do is go to victorymenshealth.com to find out more. They've got 4 convenient locations now: Sunset Hills, Wing Haven, Town and Country, and O'Fallon, Illinois. A simple blood test, and you could be on the path to losing up to 15% of your body weight. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Patriots like President Trump never stop fighting for their country. Because Trump knows America's on life support and says Dr. Bob Onder can help him save it. Trump's endorsed Dr. Bob Onder for Congress, calling him an incredible America First patriot who will fight tirelessly for our families and conservative values. Dr. Bob Onder, the Trump-endorsed America First conservative. Kurt Schaefer is different. Trump calls Schaefer weak on MAGA because Trump knows his record, voting to let foreign-owned entities buy up Missouri farmland. Now China owns over 40,000 acres. And Schaefer's campaign took $30,000 from a Chinese-owned company. He won't make America great. He'll make China rich. If given the chance, Schaefer will do it again. Win It Backpack is responsible for the content of this ad. Paid for by Win It Backpack. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. WinItBackpack.com.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25rhino.com.
Who do you support for Missouri governor? I think you know our answer in that we don't live in Missouri, but we want to know your answer. Is it Ashcroft, Eigel, Kehoe, or someone else? Let us know. It is 12:47. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Missouri, it's time to vote. The Missouri primary is August 6th, and early voting is happening now. Make your voice heard. Cast your vote in the Missouri primary. Democracy 2024. It's happening now on 97.1 FM Talk.
Oh, yeah, sales on yo, macaron. Yeah, macaron. No, chacaron.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
This is a serious radio show.
Kamala got Megan Thee Stallion. Trump needs to get this guy.
This is like something that Joe Biden would do to like appeal to the Latin community, like when he held up his phone playing Bieber's Despacito.
Uh-huh.
It's like, check out this guy.
And
I think this is Spanish.
Look, I figured this out, right? Look at me. Everybody, I got this.
I think that the story behind this, I've talked about this Chacarone story before, but that this guy had this like song and this beat.
Yeah.
And they like, I don't know if this is like lore or if this is the truth, but he was like, I got this great thing going. I don't have all the lyrics worked out yet. So they're like, we'll just produce it.
Well, yeah, it's close. The story I understand is that he had about 25% of the song figured out.
The Chacarone part.
He had the beat figured out. He had kind of the way he wanted the lyrics to go. and he sent this to his record label saying it would kind of go like this. And they're like, why don't we just put this one out?
So they put it out on purpose?
I don't know if it was on purpose or whether it was leaked.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins!
A fitting intro.
Clearly it worked, though.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite songs.
Me too.
It makes me, legit makes me for real smile every time I hear it.
Can you ever eat a macaron without thinking of that song?
I've never thought of that song, eating a macaron, but I should
will.
eat a macaron right now to test the theory.
You should. And let us know.
Mm-hmm.
These are unspoken rules for men. These come from a pastor / motivational speaker guy who's kind of gone viral. This was showing up
So
in
the
my
pastor
feed.
is a man.
Yes, he is a man. He is an urban pastor and motivational speaker. And he has all kinds of rules here, unspoken rules that he said, let's go ahead and speak them and make them rules. I want to see whether you guys agree with these, whether you have been taught them, Brad, whether you are teaching them to your son, Annie, and I will just stand here and nod. Number one, you can tell a great deal about a person by their handshake, so make yours strong and firm. Were you ever taught that?
Firm handshake?
Yeah.
Yes.
By your dad?
Yes. Look them in the eye. Make sure that you get the thumb all the way in the wedge. Squeeze firmly, but not hard. It's not a domination thing.
Annie?
Yes, but in not so many words. We did an article one time about things you should be teaching your kids.
Okay.
And it was how to introduce yourself. And a handshake is good. You got to teach your kids how to have a respectable handshake, but like just even participating in it is big. I don't know that you're like 12-year-old needs to make a business impression on an adult, but to be able to look somebody in the eye and to shake their hands and to understand that is very important. And I think that that is in 2024 is important for women to understand as men. I don't think it's a man thing.
I was about 12 years old when I remember learning this lesson. I was standing outside with my dad and some random HVAC guy. And he told me, the HVAC guy went to shake my hand just to be nice, just to the kid. And my dad told me, no, this is how you do it. And I've always remembered that because both of them kind of had a moment, my dad and the guy, saying, yeah, this is something that needs to be taught. And I was like, this is like a rite of passage thing. I still remember that today. Number two, proper grammar will get you far in life.
Mm-hmm.
Leave the foul language for the less educated.
Proper grammar and foul language are two separate things.
Yes, that's true. Let's just focus on foul language then, because I think that's the point of it.
Yeah, I don't accept it in my house for my children. I could do better.
I don't know that I've ever heard Brad say a foul word.
I probably have, but it's
infrequent.
Very infrequent.
I don't much.
No.
Only if I'm off air and I really need to make a pointed joke. Like I'm driving home a punchline and it works better
For
with
emphasis.
Yeah.
It's usually in a quote if I hear it from you. You're quoting
You're
somebody else that
probably
says
right.
it.
You're probably right.
Children should not be using that language.
Never.
But I think you're going over the poor grammar thing.
Yeah, you can't skip over
Okay,
that.
fine. Let's
Andy,
talk
the
about
floor is
poor
yours.
grammar.
Speak right. Speak good.
Great job.
It's so important. I correct my kids if they text me and they say like the wrong there. I'll be like, it's ERE. Because they need to know and they need to understand that it's important. And I'm not police. I'm not like going through and correcting their text messages with their friends. But when you communicate with me, use the right words. And I'm not like all hot and bothered about punctuation in text messages, but they so infrequently write that they don't have much to, it's not a practice. I think it's one of the things that the digital age has really, really hurt education is that there's the putting the English language into written word where you have to see it. It's not just about how you say it. It's how you write it. It's how you communicate. You will still be writing for the rest of your life. You'll be writing emails. You'll be writing text messages, whatever newfangled thing comes into play next. You still have to know how to communicate through word, and you will elevate yourself above your peers when you speak correctly.
when I was in college, I actually was talking. This has been 12 years ago, and I was talking to the head of the English department. And he's like, "You should be an English major." And I'm like, "No, I'm not good at English." But he started telling me that he would get papers that are written where people would.
I'm not well at English.
No.
I was going to correct him too, and I couldn't make myself do it.
Correct him incorrectly.
Yeah.
But he was saying that students will write papers and they'll use the letter R instead of ARE. And they'll use
that's so
you.
unbelievable.
Yeah, and he was
in a paper?
In a paper, yes.
at the college level.
Wow.
And he's like, it's unbelievable how bad grammar is.
So it's like they're writing in text.
Yes.
And if you have to think about the double space. You're a double spacer, aren't you?
I am.
It's wrong.
It is now. It wasn't when I was taught.
It's been journalistically AP style wrong.
It's changed.
For like 15 years.
I know. I was 20 years ago. I was in college.
Well, I understand
Yeah.
that, but I'm just saying it's not like it just happened yesterday. It's been different for a long time. It looks weird. I actually know that about you, that you're a double spacer.
Yeah, it's habit. It's just habit now.
But you wonder if they go, well, we don't need a double space anymore after a period. You just need a single space after a period. In 10 years, are we like, well, you don't really need to write ARE. You can just write R.
I know.
We're gonna end up writing papers the way it used to look like on the cave wall.
Yeah.
But
Just
then
grunts
people like
and
you and I are just going to
snorts.
die. Like our souls will wither. Because is there anything worse than when you go back
No,
over
we
an
won't.
email?
We'll just be the
or-
old grouchy generation, which is the same as every other one.
Dang it, you're freaking right.
We'll just be grouchy about something else.
You're right. All right, how about this one? Always carry cash.
Time out. George wants to know about the Oxford comma. You better believe you use that comma.
Oxford comma, yes.
Anyway, go ahead.
Always carry cash.
I don't.
I don't.
It's really fun when I do, though. It's like,
Oh, yeah, I do.
Is it like
guess
free
what,
money?
guys? I got a Jackson in my pocket right now.
I got a Washington in my pocket.
Never pose with alcohol.
Smart.
Yes. I agree with that.
Why?
Because it could be used for anything.
Yeah.
Listen, I've lived my life as though I might run for office since I was about 12. And I have been very particular about all of those things because a little ahead of my time there, because we didn't have social media when I was in high school. It was invented in college. But it doesn't matter the context. None of the context of the photo matters. The photo can say whatever somebody wants it to say. Don't give them that.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about it in that manner. What about dress well no matter what the occasion? To me,
always.
Dress well, though, has changed. It doesn't have to be suit and tie,
that's for sure.
but you have to look like you tried.
Never. It's always okay to be the best dressed person in the room. You never, ever want to be the worst dressed person in the room. Who's that today?
Oh.
It ain't me. I got a blazer
No, it's
on.
never you. You're always
I
dressed
feel like
nicer.
it might be a tie.
Yeah, you guys are wearing like the same thing.
But I think it's Ryan because it's the hat.
I have a fancy. This is a fancy hat.
Ryan
It's
didn't
nice
want to
hat.
do his hair today.
It takes too long.
Mhm.
Come in and it's all wet, dripping down my back.
Deroy Murdock. When we come back, we're not going to talk about that. That's for sure. Let's talk about Kamala. Don't go away.
There's Mike Kehoe's campaign bus that's owned by a Chinese lobbyist. Swampy Kehoe is hitching a ride after voting 4 times to sell Missouri farmland to China. Luckily, Trump-endorsed conservative Jay Ashcroft is tough on China. He led the charge to stop China from buying our farms. Call and thank Ashcroft for being China's worst enemy. 573-751-4936. Paid for by Stand for US PAC, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. StandForUS.com.
At Stifel, we put everything into the success of our advisors so they can put everything into your success. That means more than just building you a portfolio. It means we're invested in you and your future. And it means taking a personalized approach to managing your wealth. That's why Stifel is once again the top-ranked wealth management firm for employee advisor satisfaction. Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Point Pest Control, pointpestcontrol.com, point spelled with an E. Did you know that if you call them at 636-798-0023, 636-798-0023, if you call Point Pest Control and you tell them my name, that you're going to get an additional 10% discount on the top of whatever the special is that they have going on. People call point pest control for a lot of different things. It might be for termites. Boo. I hope that's not the case for you at all. I hope nobody listening has a termite problem, but if you do, you want point pest control. You might be calling them for mosquitoes. If you go out in the afternoon and the evening and you can't enjoy the outside at your home because the mosquitoes eat you alive, Point Pest Control can take care of that for you. Maybe it's mice. When the weather changes coming into the fall, those critters come inside. You want to get them back outside or gone or whatever. I don't need to know what happens to them. Point Pest Control can take care of them. 636-798-0023. And be sure to tell them that Annie sent you so you can save an extra 10%. It's Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A new warning from Israel's Prime Minister. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Just out of a meeting with his security cabinet, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel has delivered crushing blows to Iranian proxies and will exact a heavy price for any aggression toward it. This after 2 airstrikes, first killing a senior Hezbollah commander in Lebanon, then a top Hamas official in Iran.
A significant strike inside Iranian territory, targeting Ismail Haniyeh, the political leader of Hamas in Tehran. Haniyeh was there visiting Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, and the country's newly inaugurated president, Masoud Pezeshkian.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. Now, Netanyahu did not specifically mention the strike in Iran or claim credit for it. The head of the UN calling the attacks in Beirut and Tehran a dangerous escalation. The U.S. still pushing for de-escalation and a ceasefire.
All I can tell you right now is I think nothing takes away from the importance of, as I said a moment ago, getting to the ceasefire.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken traveling in Singapore earlier. A State Department spokesman says through appropriate channels, the U.S. has been able to continue to communicate with Hamas and Israel and that there's continued confidence about working to get a deal done. More than 100 venture capitalists are throwing support behind Vice President Kamala Harris's run for president.
Entrepreneur Mark Cuban, LinkedIn founder Reid Hoffman, and several others say they're backing Harris in a public petition posted online. That petition says we are pro-business, pro-American dream, pro-entrepreneurship, and pro-technological progress. It went on to say in this pivotal moment, we are united in our support for Vice President Kamala Harris.
Fox's Jill Nato, former President Trump's been getting some Silicon Valley support, including from Elon Musk. The Fed just leaving interest rates alone again. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
The official 97.1 FM Talk Weather Center forecast and excessive heat warning in effect through tomorrow. Partly sunny. It'll be a very hot afternoon. Our high today at 100. Clear to partly cloudy. Thunderstorm in spots tonight, low 80. And then clouds and sun. Gusty thunderstorm. A hot day tomorrow. We could see some flash flooding, damaging wind. A high tomorrow afternoon at 98. I'm Steve Williams for 97.1 FM Talk.
The Retirement Advisory Group, they know that shifting from working into retiring it's a lot. You want to make sure that you're making the right moves. So they handle that very special time of your career life right as you usher yourself into retirement. They care about that. That's where they focus. They also are excited to offer another Protecting Your Retirement educational event. Free event, doesn't cost anything to go. It's just your ears and their message, and it's not even a long time. It's happening Tuesday, August 6th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. Now, you do have to reserve your spot because the room will fill up, and we want to make sure that you get the opportunity to reserve your spot, your significant other, your friends, sibling, whatever it might be. But this is a great opportunity for you to go learn the tips you need to know when you're making that transition from working into retirement. Reserve your space by calling 314-993-9494. I'll be there. I would love to meet you. I'll be there from about 6 to 6:30 meeting people, and then we turn it over to Thomas Helbig. So if you want to meet me, or if I'd love the opportunity to meet you, make sure you show up between 6 and 6:30, and let's fill the room. I'd love to see you there. 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com.
Paid for by Lori Rook from Missouri. Ryan Rook, Treasurer.
You deserve to know where your tax dollars are really going. You deserve to know about the backdoor deals our politicians are making with lobbyists. And you deserve to know when your elected officials are supporting things that compromise your conservative values. But right now, it's all hidden behind the curtain. As your next Missouri State Treasurer, I will publish the full story of our state's spending in one easy-to-use website. Vote for me, Lori Rook, in the August 6th Republican primary. Because you deserve to know.
I'm sitting here checking the weather coming up this week. Looks like high 60s as low and 80 to mid 80s as a high. So if you are putting your air conditioner in because of the heat and you didn't want your house to get so warm while the process is going on, this will be the best time to have that done and have your air conditioner put in and get ready for the heat wave that we get here in St. Louis. Or if you haven't had your air conditioning checked, or you noticed that it wasn't cooling as good as you expected, or you wanted, or you need it, call me. It's Bart Inman, one easy number, Illinois and Missouri. The easiest number, 314-293-2600. It's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, or the internet, bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
I can see clearly now thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and introducing Samuel Berry. You can too. Call 314-966-5000 or check out youridoc.com. That's youridoc.com.
Mark Cox here. I've put together my Missouri voter guide just for you. Visit 971talk.com to see it, because the future of our state is happening now. Get my voter guide at 971talk.com and go vote.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
When I was Attorney General, I learned that the California Department of Corrections, which was a client of mine, I didn't get to choose my clients.
Right, a client of the Attorney General.
A client of the Attorney General, right. Of the Office of Attorney General, that they were standing in the way of surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. And there was a specific case. And when I learned about the case, I worked behind the scenes to not only make sure that that transgender woman got the services she was deserving. So it wasn't only about that case. I made sure that they changed the policy in the state of California so that every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access to the medical care.
That's taxpayer-funded medical care that Kamala Harris is talking about there. You know, the really important things that people are worried about when they go to the grocery store or try to fill up the pump from the pump at the gas station. Kamala Harris is the nominee to be. She's got to get the nomination officially from the Democrats. I'm waiting to see that happen before I stop holding my breath too terribly much. but she's trying to make the case to Americans. And the question is, can she beat Donald Trump? Let's talk to our friend Deroy Murdock about it, nationally syndicated columnist and Fox News contributor. Welcome back, Deroy. Good to have you here.
Annie, great to talk to you again.
Yep, you as well. I mean, the Kamala Harris, now she is, I guess, the heir apparent for the selection that is taking place on the Democrat side of the aisle. Do you think she's got what it takes to win?
Well, I've been telling people, if you want to, go ahead and underestimate Kamala Harris, but never underestimate the Democrat vote creation machine. I do think Kamala Harris, given this tremendous opportunity to become president of the United States, I think she probably will be able to maintain sort of a basement strategy, don't come out very much, do very, very scripted events, stick to the teleprompter, don't give interviews. And if she can control her giggle and look serious, there are people who might give her a second chance. Think, well, maybe she's not going to be all that bad. If she does interviews and says crazy stuff like, it doesn't matter what the Europeans think, I've been to Europe, and giggle, et cetera, then I think she's going to be, in trouble. But what I do think, whether she's able to rise to the occasion or not, the Democrat vote creation machine, as I call it, could elect as president of the United States the phone on which I'm speaking, or the microphone in front of you right now. That machine is basically value neutral, and it will pump out mass mail-in ballots, absentee ballots, create drop boxes, which I think in Wisconsin just been a judge decided they're legal. They'll be back on the streets again. The ballot harvesting, registration of illegal aliens, all that stuff that the Democrats are very good at doing. That machinery will go into place. And all you need to do is, we've seen in 2016 and 2020, if you can take about 100, 200,000 votes and sprinkle them the right way among Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Georgia, Michigan, you win the White House. So I would not in any way underestimate the ability of the Democrats to work all their turnout and phony ballot magic to get Kamala Harris in the White House. The GOP's got to be very, very focused. They ought to be right now, this second, going through the voter rolls and removing dead voters, illegal aliens, ineligible people. And the GOP, unfortunately, has done it sort of one voter at a time. A much more sensible way to do this, a guy named Jay Valentine, who is a technology expert who helped develop the anti-fraud systems for eBay and helped the TSA develop their no-fly list. He has a much more sensible approach, which is to take voter rolls, compare them to property tax records, and if there are, let's say, 25 people registered at 385 Maple Street, turns out 385 Maple Street is a vacant lot, then you say, well, you can't live in a vacant lot, so these 25 phony voters are not going to get mass mail-in ballots. Now, it may turn out that for some reason some guy's a tent there, whatever it is. Well, that guy can go to the polls and say, look, I really do live there. He'll get his one ballot, but the other 24 people who don't exist will not have them mailed to that vacant lot, and either have the ballots they're thrown on the ground or sent back to the post office where people can claim them, fill them out, and then drop them off for tabulation. So I really think this guy, Jay Valentine, who his website is omega4america.com, he lays out this approach of going after ineligible addresses on a wholesale basis rather than going after individual voters on a retail basis. It's a much, much faster way of cleaning the vote rolls and making it impossible for mass mail-in ballots to be sent to places they shouldn't be going.
Deroy, when I think about what the Democrats were able to change leading into the election last time in 2020 with COVID and really loosening the laws of how ballots can be collected and counted, the Republicans really need to get on that game if they want to change the game, because the way that laws were maneuvered in the last go-around, the Democrats took advantage of those, Republicans didn't. Do you feel like the Republicans have done the work they need to get done in order to compete on that level coming into this election here in November?
I think they need to do a whole lot more work. I think they're focused basically on having people at the tabulation stations to make sure the votes are counted properly. The thing, though, is that an illegal ballot and a legal ballot look the same. Somebody who is a phantom voter who is dead, whose ballot is being cast on his behalf, even though he's been dead for 20 years, that ballot is not going to look any different from a ballot that was dropped dropped off at a precinct or filled out in the ballot box at 5 p.m. that day by somebody who's actually alive with a pulse. And so you're sitting there watching those two ballots go through. They both look legit. You don't even notice. So what they really need to do starting right now, starting at 2:14 Eastern time, which is 1 minute from now, is go through the swing states, starting with the swing states and then the non-swing states, and get the dead people off, get the illegal aliens off, and especially, again, go after the phony addresses. And if you get the phony addresses blocked off the voter rolls, and tell the secretaries of state and the county election commissioners, I believe it's illegal under federal law to send ballot to a non-existent or an illegitimate address. And tell these people, look, we're telling you now that these, 50, 60, 70, 80, whatever number of phony addresses are on the rolls. A, we're informing you that these addresses are fake, and B, it's against federal law to mail ballots to them. So if you do, C, we're going to sue you, and we're also going to tell the FBI, the DOJ, et cetera. And if you want to go to jail, then great, but be aware that people do go to jail for this sort of thing, including, I believe, the head of elections in Milwaukee County, Wisconsin, was caught doing this sort of thing, is now being prosecuted. So I think if these people have the fear of God in them, they may actually do their jobs legitimately rather than play games and break the law and steal the election like they did in 2020.
Deroy, I had taken some time off during the busiest news week of my entire lifetime. Of course, that's how that
so did I.
That shook
I was
out.
gone the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You're trying to sit by the pool and just relax with the kids, and it's like headline after headline.
And the world's melting down.
Yeah, I think back to when we would be having our conversations and talking about that Manhattan Alvin Bragg trial, and you'd have Donald Trump doing all he could do, which is to go to a bodega in New York City and talk to people, and there's people of every walk of life yelling, "We love Trump, we love Trump." And that in the moment was pretty telling. We've journeyed quite some distance since that moment in time to where we are right now, and it's July, we're upon August. November is coming, but there's a lot of road to travel still before Election Day actually arrives. I'm wondering how you feel about Donald Trump's positioning right now, politically, with the country, with the electorate. Do you think he's winning the day?
That's a good question. Well, certainly, as you say, the time the Alvin Bragg situation was going on, he very, very clearly and obviously was being persecuted. I think people had a lot of empathy for him for that. He was making great inroads with black voters. At some polls, up to 25, 27% of the black vote was going his way. People were watching Joe Biden just melting down in office. Now those trials are basically, for the most part, wrapped up or tied up and don't look like they're going anywhere. Kamala Harris, who's black or at least mixed race, is on the ballot. That may bring some black voters back into the Democrat tent. And I don't think, unlike Tim Scott, J.D. Vance is not going to be tremendously appealing to black voters any more than, say, Tim Scott would be or Marco Rubio would have been for Hispanics. So I don't know if there's going to be much progress in that area. But then again, you've had President Trump barely escape being assassinated. I think it probably generated a lot of empathy for him, especially with him bouncing back up and shaking his fist and showing tremendous courage and resilience. So that's probably a plus for him. I think it's, he's still ahead, which is good. But, as you say, lots can happen between now and November. Who knows where all these investigations of the Secret Service will go? Who knows how much protection he's going to have in the future? Who knows if Kamala Harris will be able to get her act together and, act less like a 10-year-old Girl Scout, more like the Vice President of the United States? I'm sure that there will be domestic and international crises between now and then. I really wish the election were this coming Tuesday, not 3 months from Tuesday. And I think we're now at 97 days before Election Day, but of course, early voting is going to start probably in about 6 weeks, maybe mid-September or so. I think the state that starts voting earliest is either Minnesota or Pennsylvania, roughly September 15th or 20th, give or take. Lots and lots can change between now and then. So I'd say at the moment, Trump looks pretty good, but lots and lots can change. And if I were Trump, I would stay very focused. I would stick to the teleprompter. I would read very, very specific policy speeches, not drift off for 30, 40, 50 minutes and just kind of riff. And the more focused and policy-oriented he is, the better. And again, I would raise the question over and over, are you better off now than you were under Donald J. Trump? And I think most people would say, despite Trump's personality and the craziness and the wild hair, et cetera, we were all living better and happier lives under Trump, at least up until COVID came in and ruined everything. And I would remind people about that, and I would be very specific about inflation, about energy, about the fact we had 4 Middle East peace agreements. Now it looks like we're going to have poor Israel's going to be facing war on the north with Lebanon, on the west with Gaza, and the east with Iran. And that was not the case when Trump was there. They had peace breaking out out across the Middle East now. It looks like the entire Middle East is on fire. I talk about peace through strength. I would talk about the right to try, lower crime, et cetera, and stick to the issues, stick to public policy. And I think if he does that, he'll be in a much better position to win back the White House.
Well, we have a lot to cover. And as you know, and I found out myself, that if you take time off, man, the news will still keep churning. It certainly did while we were out. Deroy, thank you.
The news waits for no one.
No, it does not. It's very humbling, I might add.
Absolutely correct.
Thank you, Deroy. We love talking to you.
Okay, very good, Annie. Thanks very much.
All right, bye-bye. Nationally syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor, Deroy Murdock, there with us right now. I've looked up, as he was talking about that, the first days of voting. Minnesota votes 46 days before election. I just went to vote.org. In-person absentee voting, 46 days before. Mississippi says 45 days before Election Day for eligible absentee voters. And then it says 3 days before Election Day at 12 p.m. for eligible absentee voters. I love the explanation next to Missouri. You people. Missouri offers in-person, no excuse absentee voting at locations designated by local county election authorities starting the second Tuesday before Election Day. A qualifying photo ID is required to vote by no excuse absentee ballot in person.
Look at them go.
Yeah.
Look at you, Missouri.
Let me scroll up a little bit here and just throw up in my mouth. Illinois, 40 days before Election Day. It's like Lent. That's what it feels like. Just if we don't ever get the Easter at the end. Nebraska's 30 days before Election Day. New Mexico's 28 days. Some of these are like, I think Georgia was the fourth Monday before Election Day. So that's less than 30 days, but Ohio, 29 days before Election Day. The day after voter registration closed, but will be altered if this date or the voter registration deadline falls on a Sunday or a holiday. I think it was Colorado had this and Oregon has this. Oregon has all mail-in ballots. All mail-in ballots. Pennsylvania varies by county. Pennsylvania does not offer early voting, but counties may make absentee and mail-in ballot applications available to voters in person up to 50 days before Election Day. South Dakota, 46 days before Election Day. South Dakota, always causing problems. Vermont, 45 days before Election Day. Virginia, 45 days before Election Day. Wyoming, 45 days before Election Day. I do actually understand a longer period of time to vote, maybe a couple weeks tops, in places where weather could be a factor in November. I'm okay with that. Just one person, one vote.
Yeah.
If you're an American citizen, you get to vote. Maybe you lose your rights if you murder somebody, if you become a felon of that kind or something like that. But if you're an American citizen, if you can figure out how to fill out a ballot, you can figure out how to get an identification. Incredibly racist to suggest otherwise.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. That's all there is to it. One person, one vote. Prove that you're one legitimate person at an address or however you get your ID. Homeless people can get IDs too. One person, one vote. Period. It's not that hard. Just do it right. Thank you, Missouri, for being so specific and adding in no excuse to the descriptor of who can vote absentee. Let's take a quick break. More when we come back here. The YouTube live chat poll for today is, who do you support for Missouri governor? Jay Ashcroft, Bill Eigel, Mike Kehoe. Or you're not in Missouri, you're supporting someone else. Who we got out there in the Annie Fry Show audience? Last time I checked, I'm going to give a little peek here once again. We got one candidate that's definitely got the majority going. So who you got? Maybe you can even it out a little bit or put the certain candidate far, far, far ahead. And we'll see if this has any reflection on what happens next Tuesday. Take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Long hot summer day and forever day.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Air Comfort Service. Hey, it's a hot one out there. It's like a hot week. I feel like I went to Washington, D.C., heat index of 110. Went to Florida, heat index of 110. Back in St. Louis, heat index of 110. It's hot everywhere I go. Air Comfort Service is here, though, and that's what matters for you in your comfort zone in your home. And it works also for your business. So if you're running a business, if you are in charge of maybe your church and the AC unit is not doing the trick, you need to have Air Comfort Service come out, service the AC unit you have. They can give you advice on what you need to do next. I speak from experience. When our AC unit was not pushing the cold air a few years ago that it needed to be, they came out, they told us, here's what it costs to fix it. Here's what it costs to replace it. Here are some options of how you can replace it. They gave a recommendation. And I was very appreciative that they gave me the advice and all of the different prices so that when I went to make the payment, I knew what I was getting. I appreciated and respected the value. Air Comfort Service is tops. And if you don't want to take my word for it, research the reviews that are all over the internet with the BBB. You can trust Air Comfort Service in your home. You can trust them in your business for commercial replacement or service repairs for your entire HVAC system. Call them at 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, or hit them up online, aircomfortservice.com.
By now, you've heard Adam Schnelting's false attack ads. Don't buy his lies. Adam Schnelting says he opposes the transgender agenda, but he's trying to conceal the truth. Schnelting has received more than $71,000 from liberal trial lawyers. Those same trial lawyers supporting Schnelting also gave over $100,000 to a liberal group that supports men playing girls' sports, supports men using girls' bathrooms, and even supports gender mutilation surgeries for minors. To make matters worse, Adam Schnelting says he supports our gun rights, but he's received thousands from leading anti-gun lawyers that filed a massive lawsuit against gun makers and gun owners. But that's not all. These liberal lawyers don't just fund Adam Schnelting's campaign, their anti-gun lawsuits, or the transgender movement. They've also been leading funders of Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and even the Joe Biden-Kamala Harris ticket. Adam Schnelting. With friends like that, conservatives just can't trust him. On August 6th, don't forget Adam Schnelting. He's loved by liberals, and he lies like one too.
Gladius PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising, paid for by Gladius PAC, and is not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one, funded by Medicaid with no cost to you. Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 five-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. If you're not sure who to call for air conditioning services, contact the team at Air Comfort Service. With 55 years of experience and thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust them with the comfort of your home. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Missouri Congressman Mark Alford.
They still haven't figured out, was the assailant working with anyone else? And who actually dropped the ball? Why was there no communication between local law enforcement and the Secret Service?
Weekdays from 3 to 6. This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Cupid, please hear my cry and let your arrow fly straight to my lover's heart for me.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Donald Trump is currently speaking with 3 reporters at the National Association of Black Journalists. Harris Faulkner is one of them. So they included a Fox News journalist there, which I think is fantastic. Yeah. Harris is tops. And it's located in Chicago. And they're going back and forth on questions regarding police immunity. And let's pop in and listen right now. As they're asking this question, Donald Trump's responding.
Someone from Illinois, an unarmed black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You've said police would get immunity from prosecution if you win. Why should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something. And it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water, right?
Yeah, well, police unions are not backing this person either. Okay. But again,
are they going to be charging the officer? I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th weekend, they had 117 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question? Who would make those
Well, right now, for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. But I'm saying if I felt, or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job maybe with crime, or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
What would those exceptions be? What would determine an innocent mistake?
You go after somebody and it's a very close call and it's very dangerous. And you know, they have, the policeman's life and woman is a very difficult thing because sometimes you have less than a second to make a, life and death decision. And sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake.
So I want to follow up really quickly. I find it interesting because you do talk about reining in prosecutors, especially when it comes to prosecutors that are prosecuting you. Why doesn't that skepticism apply to law enforcement?
Well, I've been prosecuted because I'm a political opponent of two people that have weaponized our justice system. I've been prosecuted. I just won the big case in Florida. Everyone said that was the biggest case. That was the most difficult case. And I just won it. Now, Biden has a similar case, except much worse. I was protected under the Presidential Records Act. Biden wasn't, because he wasn't president at the time. And he had 50 years worth of documents. And they ruled that he was incompetent, and therefore he shouldn't stand trial. And I said, isn't that something? He's incompetent and he can't stand trial, and yet He can be president. Isn't that nice?
Mr. President,
but they released him on the basis that he was incompetent. They said he had no memory, and he was a nice old guy, but he had no memory, and therefore we're not going to prosecute him. I won the case, and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity on it, George.
We cover you extensively, sir. I'd love to move over on to different topics.
I didn't notice you do any publicity on it at all. I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack on a political opponent. I have another one where
sir,
I have a hostile judge.
We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different topics.
Excuse you. You're the one that held me up at 35 minutes, just so you understand.
If we can move on now to the state of the race, sir, I want to get back to the campaign. Senator J.D. Vance is your running mate. He's had a lot of controversy lately, and I want to read you a few things that he has said in the past. He said the Democrats running the country are a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. He's not talking here about how great it is to be a parent. He's attacking what he says are the choices people are making to not have children. Did you know that he had these views about people who do not have children before you picked him to be your running mate, and do you agree with him?
No, I know this. He is very family-oriented, and he thinks family is a great thing. That doesn't mean he thinks that if you don't have a family, it's not. I know people with families. I know people with great families. I know people with very troubled families. And I also know people with no families. They didn't meet the right person. Things happen. You go through life, you don't meet the right person.
But he's not just talking about families here. He also says that people that don't have children should get less votes than those that do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
Is that your campaign
I think
position?
I'm speaking for him, too. He strongly believes in family. But I know people with great families. I know people with not great families that don't have a family. And the people without the family are far better. They're superior in many cases, okay? He's not saying they're not. What he's saying is that he thinks the family experience is a very important thing. It's a very good thing. But that doesn't mean that if you grow up and you grow older and you don't meet somebody that would be wonderful to meet and would have been good, that that's a bad thing. He's not saying that. My interpretation, you'll have to ask him, actually, but my interpretation is he's strongly family-oriented, but that doesn't mean if you don't have a family, there's something wrong with it.
Just one last point, and then we'll move on. Just one of the bedrock principles of American life is one person, one vote. Senator J.D. Vance has suggested that someone who has children should have more votes than a person who does not have children. I just want to be clear here. Is that the position of your campaign?
Well, no, but it's not something I have ever heard before. I can tell you this. Right now you have illegal aliens coming into our country, many from prisons and many from mental institutions, and they want to give them votes. I don't think they should have votes. They came into our country illegally, and they're taking the vote away from all of the people in this room that have been here a long time, that have worked hard, that in many cases, and you'll see this happening, if I'm not elected, you're going to see it happening. If I am, you're not going to have any problem. But you're going to see it happening a long time. You're going to see the people in this room and people outside of this room are going to be losing their jobs to people that have come into this country illegally.
Mr. President, can we stay with just kind of the state of the race right now? Because I felt like that vice president question, candidate question was right in there with that. Yeah. So let's talk about J.D. Vance for a little bit. He's had some stumbles out of the gate. I don't know if you're hearing what we hear as reporters, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose J.D. Vance?
Why did you
choose him? And I'm having a hard time hearing, too. I know everybody out there can, but it's hard to hear.
I'll tell you why. I chose him because he's a very strong believer in work and the working man and woman, and especially the working man and woman who have been treated very unfairly, because you have many of them in this room. But you have many of those people, they were treated very unfairly. They worked very hard, and they were treated unfairly. He wrote the book that became a bestseller. The movie became a smash hit. He's a very smart guy without the benefit of having a family that has contacts, like a father that was well-connected. He got into Yale Law School. He graduated in 2 years from Ohio State, summa cum laude. I mean, you take a look at, his career has been an amazing career. He started off at a level with a difficult family situation, very difficult, with the mother and the father and everything else. He ends up going to Yale Law School and was one of the top students, became the head of the Law Journal. I mean, that's an amazing thing. He's a 4-year, he was in the military with great distinction for 4 years, got out, went into business, became successful in business, very successful in business, actually, did public offerings and other things. And I have to believe in that. I mean, he's somebody that was born in a rough situation. Most of the people know that situation because it was very well documented in his book. And I have a lot of respect for somebody that can get into Yale and become one of the best students in Yale, that meets a young woman at Yale who was also outstanding, and they get married, they have a beautiful family. But he had he's made himself an amazing life. He then goes to Ohio, lives in Ohio, and he had my endorsement. That helped. But he wins the Senate. He becomes a United States Senator. So he's a United States Senator. And so, Harris, like I respect you for your success, I respect people for their success.
The reason I asked the question is because the last time you and I sat and talked was the day that you were shot. We'd been together for much of that day. You left to go to Butler, Pennsylvania, and we didn't know what was next.
Yeah.
And 2 days after that,
I cannot understand. Your microphone
I know,
is so
it is really hard for me to understand you too.
I can understand you perfectly.
Because she's closer.
I can understand you.
I'm happy to hear that, sir.
But I can't
really
understand, Harris.
I have a few more questions.
Because of the distance, and the mics are really in lousy shape, but I cannot understand
are
you asking a question?
What you're saying.
So what I wanted to say was the last time we spoke, you said some words that were prophetic because I asked you who you wanted to choose for vice president.
Yeah.
And you said normally it really wouldn't matter what they would bring. You choose somebody that you think has a future, that sort of thing. But you said these words 3.5 hours before an attempted assassination on your life. You told me that bad things happen, Harris, and that's why this decision is important this time. Bad things happen. You said it twice. When you look at J.D. Vance, is he ready on day one?
Does he what?
Ready on day one, if he has to be.
I've always had great respect for him, and for the other candidates too. But I will say this, and I think this is well documented. Historically, the vice president, in terms of the election, does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact. You have 2 or 3 days where there's a lot of commotion as to who, like you're having it on the Democrat side, who it's going to be. And then that dies down, and it's all about the presidential pick. Virtually never has it mattered. Maybe Lyndon Johnson mattered for different reasons of what we're talking about, not for vote reasons, but for political reasons, other political reasons. But historically, the choice of a vice president makes no difference. You're voting for the president, and you can have a vice president who's outstanding in every way, and I think J.D. is. I think that all of them would have been. But you're not voting that way. You're voting for the president. You're voting for me. If you like me, I'm going to win. If you don't like me, I'm not going to win.
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in.
J.D. Vance?
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in. To your point and to Rachel's point, he has a lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think, well, I mean, my point
is here. But at least it was said in a friendly manner.
My point is, do you think the Republican Party is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what J.D. Vance is saying?
I don't think, look, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the death of a baby after the baby is born, based on the governor of Virginia. Based on the governor of Virginia, they're allowing the death of the baby after it's born. They're allowing abortions in the 8th and 9th month.
Well, Democrats have denied.
I think they're right. And I think the Republican Party is actually much less. I think I've made them much less radical, perhaps. But the Republican Party, what we're doing is bringing it back to the states where everybody wanted it. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted abortion brought back. They didn't want Roe v. Wade in the federal government. They wanted it. Everybody wanted it back.
But the majority of Americans oppose Roe v. Wade being overturned.
They don't know about this. Right now, they're voting. It brought it back to the states. Now, I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Ronald Reagan believed with rape, incest, life of the mother. I do. I think most people do. I think most Republicans do also. But if you take a look, right now they're doing, it's an amazing thing, out of the federal government, it's in states, and people are voting. And I will say, Ohio is, let's call it a more liberal version, has been approved. Kansas, the same thing, a little bit surprising to a lot of people. But the people are now voting. And it's taking this issue that's been going on for 52 years and has torn our country apart, and it's giving it to the people to vote on. And they're voting. And many states have already voted. Others are in the process of voting. And it's bringing it back to the people and a vote of the people. And it's not at all radical. And again, you have to follow your heart. I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Most people believe in the 3 exceptions. Most Republicans believe in the exceptions. But they don't want to see an abortion in the 9th month or the 8th month. Almost everybody agrees to that. And they certainly don't want to see, in the case of the governor of Virginia, the former governor, I might add, who said, we set the baby aside and then we decide what to do. Meaning, what do? We execute the baby. That's a radical, horrible position. And some people want that. I don't want it. Most people don't.
Thank you. Can I just pivot really quickly to another question about, you brought up health, Harris. You're an active man. We see you.
We're going to break in here because we've got to go
But
to a
if
commercial
you
break,
win-
and we'll monitor this to see what else comes out of it. Any other headlines? I feel like Donald Trump is doing very Trumpian type of things here. I don't think that they're getting the best of him. I think that there are opportunities where if I were in Trump's position, I'd make more specific points. He filibusters. It's what Trump does. Kudos to Trump for going into the National Association of Black Journalists and talking to 2, I'm not saying unfriendly like as in humans, but just, two
combative.
Yeah. And I mean, full respect to the journalists. I have nothing bad to say about any of the people who are on the stage. Harris Faulkner is obviously a friendly for Donald Trump, but good for him for going to Chicago to this convention and saying, let's go. Put Kamala Harris in the converse of this scenario and let's see how she does. And I don't say that I'm not saying that oh, she'll never do it or whatever. Just let's go through with the exercise and see what happens. I know that there are people listening right now who are on the left side of the aisle and they think that he's missing all of his marks because he's making conservative points. Of course you think he's missing his marks because you don't agree with his marks. I think he's doing well. And he even got the whole audience to laugh when the one journalist kind of insulted him in the way that they do. And he goes, yeah, but she said it in a friendly way. Everybody laughed. Everybody laughed. He got him. Let's take a quick break. Thomas Helbig is going to be in here when we return. I think Bob Kershaw is with him as well. We're going to talk about that event that we have coming up. And then in the 2 o'clock hour, we might dip back into this if there's more. React to it as well. Also, we want to know your thoughts on the YouTube live chat poll. Who do you support for Missouri governor? Ashcroft, Eigel, Kehoe, or you're not in Missouri, maybe you want somebody else. Annie Fry YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Fly straight to my lover's heart for me. Now, Cupid, if your arrow make a love stone for me.
WindowWorld.com. If you're shopping for replacement windows, it's good to shop with good people, and you'll find them at Window World. Check out all of the reviews that they have online. Of course, there's the BBB, but they also have really, really strong showings with all of the rating agencies that are out there that really champion the kind of work that Window World does, the product that Window World provides, and the service that they maintain. Window World is your choice for replacement windows. I'm very excited to be able to partner with them to tell you about them. Window World is now offering up to 36 months same as cash financing with approved credit. So all you got to do is call 314-993-1800. 314-993-1800. When you go to Window World, you're going to get a great window. You're going to get a lifetime warranty covering parts, glass breakage, and labor. And you're going to get the great service and maintenance that goes along with installing those new windows. And when you support Window World, you're supporting us. Make sure that you let Window World know that you heard about them on the Annie Fry Show when you start the conversation, and let it go wherever it may. 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
As a conservative state representative, Adam Schnelting has a track record of protecting kids and fighting the swamp. For more information on the only candidate for State Senate District 23, endorsed by Missouri Right to Life and the NRA, visit adamformo.com. Vote Adam Schnelting on August 6th.
Protect Our Kids PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising. Paid for by Protect Our Kids PAC. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin. Proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
As President Trump's trusted attorney, Missouri's Will Scharf beat the lawfare liberals at their own game, delivering a major victory for Trump at the Supreme Court. He'll win for Missouri, too. Scharf's a rule of law conservative, tough on crime, backs the blue. Conservative Will Scharf, warrior for Trump, winner for Missouri Attorney General. Because Missouri's lost enough with liberal Andrew Bailey. As a prosecutor, Bailey went easy on a violent repeat felon with a long rap sheet, including shooting up a police car. Yet Bailey charged him with mere misdemeanors when he struck again, leading to a plea deal that cut him loose within months. Bailey slapped a violent felon on the wrist, the same wrist he allegedly used to shoot a cop. Buried last year, mourned by loved ones wearing black because Bailey betrayed the blue. He'll betray Missouri, too. Defend Missouri PAC, paid for and is responsible for the content of this ad. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. 471-671-2291.
Are you ready to shape the future? Missouri is crafting its master plan on aging, and we want to hear from you. Visit health.mo.gov/aging to share your thoughts, ideas, and concerns. We can create a vibrant, inclusive future for all generations.
Help if you want to sell your home as is. Help doesn't matter the condition it's in. Help if you want a simple sale with no agency fees. Claiming groups got you covered, no contingency. House a mess, roof damage, bad taxes, that's all okay. Make sure you remember to call Claiming Real Estate.
Let us help you. Claiminggroup.com. KLAMEN Group.com.
Well, it's kind of an unofficial poll, but it's today's Annie-Fry YouTube live chat poll. Who do you support for Missouri governor? Is it Ashcroft? Is it Eigel? Is it Kehoe? Do you not live in Missouri like us, or is it somebody else? 151 right now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It's what's happening.
She was the border czar.
Right now.
I've asked the VP to lead our efforts stemming the migration to our southern border.
Keeping you informed and up to date.
Now they're trying to say she never was the border czar.
97.1 FM Talk.
Turn the quiet up, turn the noise down.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Just spin around.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
I wanna feel it sway and put some feel good in my soul. Drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We were just dipping in to listen to some of the Trump event with the National Association of Black Journalists. We might dip back into that in a little bit in the 2 o'clock hour. But my friend, Thomas Helbig, is in studio with us. He is a great sponsor of the Annie Fry Show in 97.1. And you know him from the Retirement Advisory Group. Go to retirementkey.com for more info. Thomas, we've got an event coming up next Tuesday, August 6th, 6:30 at the Frontenac Hilton. We could talk about that in a minute, but I heard that the Fed is keeping where they are right now.
Yes.
I'm looking at the Dow right now. It's up 442 points. I keep hearing from the Biden administration that the economy is the best in the nation or in the world, but I'd imagine if you're that person who's walking up to retirement, you can't hold your breath and expect all the good things to line up at least the way they're telling us they are.
No, you can't. You can't. And folks, you don't want to miss this event next Tuesday at 6:30 at the Frontenac Hilton. Some of the things we're going to address is how the coming election is going to affect the markets. Number one, we will talk about that. Number two, The escalation of war in the Middle East, that is going to be a big impact on the markets if it keeps escalating. We will talk about that, so you don't want to miss it. But one of the two main things we will talk about, and we've been talking about this for 30-something years from our clients, we're going to teach you that linking to the market, if you're nearing retirement or already retired, that is the safest and most smartest way to have your retirement money. Link to the market, because when you link to the market, you get the growth and the market's going up, but you eliminate the losses.
What does that mean? I'm not smart enough to understand what it means, linking to the market.
Linking to the market. That's why you need to come to this event. It's hard to explain, but when you own, let's say you own stocks and mutual funds, you have an ownership position in the market, which means you own the ups. Unfortunately, you own the losses.
Yeah.
When you link to the markets, and we will show you how to do it, and this strategy's been around for 30-something years now. When you link to the market, you get the growth of the market, but you eliminate the downside risk because you don't own it. Number two, you eliminate all the fees. And folks, we will talk about this at this event. If you're paying a normal 2% annual fee on a $500,000 retirement account, you will spend over $500,000 in fees over a 20-year retirement. On $1 million retirement account, over 20-year retirement, you'll spend over $1.2 million. I will show you how to eliminate those fees. So come to this event. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com. Or call our office, 314-993-9494.
It's always,
you want to register.
Yeah, it's always fun to go to these events because the event actually starts at 6:30. I show up at 6, and I love the opportunity to meet you. So if you are able to get there before 6:30, I will meet as many people as I can. The rooms have been full before. So
and they're all 97.1 listeners that will be there. So you'll get to meet Annie, you'll meet Mark and Mark.
Yeah. I feel like it's a great opportunity. I don't know, 5 times a year that we do this together.
5 times a year.
And it's a great opportunity to meet you. So I hope you sign up. Also, he has cookies and snacks, which is always a plus. And it's free. Doesn't cost you anything.
Doesn't cost you anything. And I only talk for 45 minutes. So it's fun. We have a little trivia at the beginning, and everybody gets up, says something, you and Mark. But we'll be done at 7:30. You'll be out of there in time to go home and have dinner or whatever. But, folks, you don't want to miss this. There's a lot of things coming. The election that's going to affect the markets, the escalating of war in the Middle East, and we're going to teach you these strategies to eliminate the fees, eliminate the risk, and the losses in your retirement account. So don't miss it. Go to retirementkey.com.
Are people retired? We only got like a minute left here, but are people postponing retirement right now?
Not really. It depends. The beautiful thing is, and this is what we love what we do, when they come in and meet with us, we're going to put together their own personalized structured income plan, which will basically show them how much money they'll be able to have coming in retirement and how long your money lasts. And when these people see that, if they have enough and that meets their income, a lot of them say, I can afford to retire now. And that's a wonderful feeling. Yeah, a lot of them say, I need to work one more year or two.
I guess people come in, they kind of have a dream of what retirement looks like.
Correct.
And maybe where investments and hobbies are going to flourish and maybe some things that are going to go away once that retirement sets in. But you really get to help them take a dream and turn it into a planned reality.
That's exactly it. Turn it into reality. And that's what you want, one of these personalized structured income plans. So go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com and sign up, folks.
All right. Thomas Helbig, thanks for being in here. I'll see you Tuesday, August 6th at the Frontenac Hilton. 6:30 p.m. is when it starts. Like he says, he doesn't talk for long. You're out of there by 7:30. I will be there from 6 to 6:30. Mark will be there with me as well. So it's going to be an exciting day. We're going to do this. Then we're going to get some election results. So you can go by and vote and then come by and visit us. But do reserve your spot, 314-993-9494. Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate you being in here with us.
Good seeing you.
Look forward to seeing you and Bob and Tammy and the whole crew at the retirement. They're the nicest people. retirementkey.com. Let's take a quick break. Make sure you go vote in the YouTube live chat poll as well. Who do you support for Missouri governor? Is it Ashcroft, Eigel, Kehoe, or someone else? Or maybe you're not in Missouri. Those are your options. Go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Let us know who you think. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
A weak White House, an invasion of illegals, and the woke mob attacking our values. That's what Phil Cristofanelli is fighting for Missouri's future. He supported sending the National Guard to secure the southern border. He defunded sanctuary cities. And Phil Cristofanelli backs the blue to keep our neighborhoods safe from gangs, fentanyl, and human traffickers. He's been named one of Missouri's most conservative legislators year after year. Cristofanelli stands up to the radical left and weak-kneed Republicans. Pro-life, he helped pass one of the nation's strongest anti-abortion laws and defunded Planned Parenthood. Pro-Second Amendment, he stood up for our gun owners and constitutional rights. And Cristofanelli is keeping men out of girls' sports and locker rooms. Phil Cristofanelli, an unwavering conservative for state senate.
Paid for by friends of Phil Cristofanelli, Dan Raker's treasurer.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The former president taking issue with his new opponent. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Our whole campaign was steered toward him, and now we have to steer toward her. But ultimately, it's the same because they have bad policy.
This at a question and answer session in Chicago at the National Association of Black Journalists convention.
I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act.
Also suggesting that Vice President Kamala Harris has pivoted on her racial identity.
She was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
That while answering a question on whether he thinks Harris is only on the ticket because she's a black woman. The White House calling his comments on Harris's racial identity insulting. The United Auto Workers Union, meantime, just endorsing Harris for president ahead of a mass rally planned for next Wednesday in Detroit. A cautious reaction at the White House after a Hezbollah commander was killed by an Israeli airstrike in Beirut, and then another strike, not officially claimed by Israel, killed the top Hamas political leader who was visiting Iran and who's been a chief negotiator in talks on a ceasefire with Israel.
I think it's too soon to know what any of these reported events could mean for the ceasefire deal.
That's National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby, who says the U.S. will keep working on a deal. U.S. auto safety regulators say they stand by a conclusion that more than 50 million airbag inflators are dangerous and should not be in use. That's another step toward a massive recall. Those parts are made by two manufacturers, including ARC Automotive in Tennessee. Automakers have led some of the opposition to the possible recall. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
The official 97.1 FM Talk Weather Center forecast and excessive heat warning in effect through tomorrow. Partly sunny. It'll be a very hot afternoon. Our high today at 100. Clear to partly cloudy. Thunderstorm in spots tonight, low 80. And then clouds and sun. Gusty thunderstorm. A hot day tomorrow. We could see some flash flooding, damaging wind. A high tomorrow afternoon at 98. I'm Steve Williams for 97.1 FM Talk.
Stewart's American Mortgage, 314-324-4440. I told you that the Fed came out and they are holding rates the way they are. Whatever the news of the day is regarding interest rates on mortgages, your go-to place is Stewie and Stewart's American Mortgage, because he has got his finger on the pulse. He knows what's happening. He's very, very good at anticipating what's coming next and making sure that you get the absolute best deal on your mortgage that can be had. When you reach out to Stewie directly, his phone, which is probably in his pocket or sitting on his desk right now, 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440. He is going to explain to you how the bagel loan works in as much detail as you want, or you could just take my word for it. No closing costs. I'm a 2-time bagel loan customer myself, both with a refinance to get my rate lower when rates were super low. You might have the opportunity to lower your rate right now as well with a bagel loan refinance. Call Stewie and find out. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
I'm Robert Cornejo. It is an honor to serve as judge for St. Charles County, the community that I am proud to be raising my family in. In my courtroom, I follow the Constitution and the rule of law. I'm not here to legislate from the bench. I'm here to ensure justice is carried out efficiently and fairly. My number one priority as a judge is to make sure this is a safe community for families like mine.
Robert Cornejo served in the Missouri House, where he defended the sanctity of life, prevented illegal immigrants from receiving taxpayer-subsidized tuition, fought against big government, and strengthened our Second Amendment rights. Judge Robert Cornejo is endorsed by the St. Louis County Police Association and Eastern Missouri Coalition of Police for his work to keep St. Charles County safe. Judge Cornejo also has the support of local firefighters.
When you cast your vote, I hope that you will allow me, Judge Robert Cornejo, to be the next circuit judge for St. Charles County.
Paid for by friends of Robert Cornejo. Allison Onder, Treasurer.
Hi, this is Mark Harder, and I'm running for Missouri Senate 15 on August 6th. Over the last 9 years, I have delivered for the residents of West St. Louis County. I fought for senior tax freeze and delivered. I fought for the Veterans Treatment Court and delivered. I fought for police training, funding, and community support and delivered. I fought to keep our neighborhoods safe and our cars from being stolen and delivered. Now I need your support. Vote smarter, vote harder in the August 6th primary.
Paid for by citizens to elect Mark Harder, Chuck McCluskey, Treasurer.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with NABJ. Visit NABJ.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Mark Cox here. I've put together my Missouri voter guide just for you. Visit 971talk.com to see it, because the future of our state is happening now. Get my voter guide at 971talk.com and go vote.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
It doesn't matter, because Trump is not running against Kamala. He's not running against Biden. He's running against Trump. That's all this is about. Trump has to beat Trump.
he has to have moments where he untrumps himself. He's got to pull back. Calling her names, they want that. They want the bloodbath. They want him to come out there because guess what? We'll all be laughing and we'll be hashtagging, but half the country that works for the living is going to be like, why is he always talking? Just stick to policies.
Our friend Tyrus was hosting Gutfeld the other day, and he was making that point. That's something that we've said here on the show. I've said on that Donald Trump needs to understand that his opponent, Tyrus is saying more directly to Trump, like, you got to be better than your worst. And what I've always said is Donald Trump's opponent is who the media has made him out to be. And he has to continue to chisel cracks in that facade so that people can understand who he really is. Also, under that facade are some maybe it's like very subjectively lovable. When you take in how he behaves. I think once you realize that he's not setting out to be a dictator who wants to rule your life and destroy, I guess, your understanding of America. I mean, I'm trying to put myself in the minds of those who breathe to detest him. Once you realize he's not that guy, it's kind of like, oh, this is kind of funny.
Which is why he's got to keep doing the things that he's doing today, speaking of the National Association of Black Journalists, talking directly to people without media interference, doing the golf video the other day. That stuff is good for him. He needs to continue to do as much of it as possible.
He needs to humanize himself.
Yeah.
Show himself as a person. That was kind of the thing.
But I mean, that's the thing, though. He does that all the time. Just because he doesn't mean that people are able to receive it, because it's bastardized through the media.
Yeah, and to your point, I think there's a section of the population that will never be able to receive it. It doesn't matter what he does. I mean, like, he could pull like 12 babies out of a burning fire and they would figure out a way to write it against him just because
all the babies were white.
Yeah. And, there's just a section of the population that is so, I don't know, locked in by this that they'll never, it doesn't matter what he does, they'll never give in to him. But those aren't the people he needs to win.
He can get out of his own way, though. And I don't trust that he's going to do that all the time. He did it during the first debate, though. He beat Joe Biden out of the race. Joe Biden's gone. Where is Joe Biden? What is Joe Biden doing right now?
That's a great question.
Yeah, no kidding.
I was writing podcast material earlier and asking the question, wait a minute, Kamala Harris isn't the president. The current president needs to weigh in on Israel and all these issues.
What podcast material?
Our own.
For the show?
Yeah.
We have a podcast?
We do.
Do you remember the day that I was talking about how our podcasts were on Spotify and yours were on Spotify and you didn't know it?
Yeah, I think I do remember that.
You found that out live on the air?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you can check us out on Spotify. You're like, oh, man, you're on Spotify? We're on Spotify? That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm like, Ryan, your show is on Spotify. You didn't believe me.
I still am excited about that. You can, I mean, you can find us everywhere. Apple, you can find us all over the place now. We're huge.
What? Massive, as is declared yesterday. What percentage, like how much of our audience do you think is interested in I feel like podcasting a daily 3-hour show. I mean, I'm all for it. And I'm not like suggesting we get rid of it, but I'm just wondering, it's not like.
It's got to be like of total numbers, like maybe 3, 4, 5% of people.
I know we get listenership from it. I know that it counts when it counts. I know that matters, but I'm just going to say it. I can't believe that anybody listens to me for anything. It's the weirdest thing when people come up to me and be like, I listen all the time. And I'm internally, I'm always thinking, why? It's so flattering, but I also feel like it's so fleeting. Like, I don't want to hold on to it too tight because it'll be too hard to let go when the time comes to let it go.
Interesting. Because I'm the exact opposite. Whenever I go into a place and people don't listen, like, what is happening?
What are you doing with your time?
What are these people doing with their lives? They're not listening? I don't get it.
Brad confessed early on the show that he listens to other shows.
I don't love that.
You got something to say to him?
Brad, I want you to continue to do exactly what you're doing, because I realized that if you were going to leave right now, that I would probably have to go run the board. So why don't you just keep doing what you're doing, buddy?
You got to start it off right.
No, great job.
You got to apologize first.
No. You and I are the same on the hierarchy.
You have to apologize when you speak to me.
Ryan,
yes,
we are not the same.
We are the same on the hierarchy sheet. So, first of all, Annie, I apologize.
You should.
Second, Brad, you're doing a bang-up job.
Thank you, Ryan.
Could you run that board right now?
Yeah, but it would take me I'm rusty.
If something happened and you needed to run the board for the rest of the show, would the audience know that there was a new person running the board?
Heck yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It would take me, because hitting all the liners and stuff when we go with the bump music, hitting you're listening to the Annie Fry Show and stuff like that.
Aren't you clicking a button?
Yeah, but
At a
I
specific
got to
time?
know where they are. And right now, I don't. That stuff, I did
Are
that.
they obvious over there, Brad?
Yeah. Yeah, they have names
Tell
on
me
them.
what you're looking at.
What am I looking at? I'm looking at a screen here that gives me the lineup of what we call them carts are next in the lineup. So what commercials are next?
Do you know why we call them carts?
No, I don't.
I do.
All right, old man.
It's because they used to be on actual cartridges.
Amazing.
Cart numbers, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that. I see the current bump music and how far we are into it. I've got my stingers and hotkeys for guest entrances, so I could do Tyrus, Deroy, Hans, Wiggins.
I like the way you said Wiggins.
Yeah,
There's a little bit of
It's
derision.
kind of a concession.
Yeah, I got
that.
Joe Concha's here.
I just told you you're doing a
Carafanos.
great job.
Do you have a liner button up there? Is it obvious?
A liner button. Tell me.
I didn't ask that right, apparently.
Yeah, I don't.
Liner button.
Maybe, but I don't know what that like.
I'm just thinking that if I had to jump in and do it, or if Ryan had to jump over there and do it, would we be able to visually look around and go, okay.
Oh yeah, so like all of the liners that play during the I was going to call them stingers, but whatever they play during the
stingers.
During I could be way off. I'm completely
Hey, no,
everything
you're an old pro now, Brad. We follow your lead.
Yeah, but I've just defined everything as whatever since I started it. But like I can hit the Annie. This is the Annie Fry Show, AFS YouTube. You're listening. That's kind of what's up there, and then it says Facebook, Twitter, website, and AFS Instagram. Those are all the liners / stingers that you can hit
Yeah, we have Instagram.
and get them. So it's all right there, and they're color coded even.
What is, Ryan, outside of what you do here, and maybe that's not even, it wouldn't even be your answer. Where do you feel the most comfortable in radio? Like, where do you feel like you excel? Maybe we're not maximizing your talents.
One thing that I'm really good at is hosting.
That's not what she asked.
She
She
is.
asked,
She
where
wants to
did you
know,
excel?
Yeah, hosting. I can do co-host, but man, do I shine in the big chair.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Why do people call it the big chair?
because it's the number one spot.
This chair.
The chair is no bigger.
This chair is sometimes your chair.
Sometimes it
The
is.
chairs get moved around in here like crazy.
But I think it comes from the old Masterpiece Theater, sitting in the big chair.
I just thought it was a comment.
It is. To answer your question, though, non-jokingly, I think I'm probably best at just sort of throwing crap into things.
You've made a career out of it.
I know. It's been great.
Are you the luckiest man alive?
If I got paid real well, then yeah. Right now, I'm just lucky.
Just enough.
Yeah. I'm lucky, but boy, we're close.
Brad, you came into this show with how much radio experience? How long had you been in the business?
Zero. Zero radio experience, 0 time under my belt, 0 understanding of how any of this worked.
Do you feel comfortable now?
Yeah, I feel a lot more comfortable. But I never am fully comfortable because it seems like daily there's always something that I have to deal with that I've never dealt with before.
I used to run a board. I've told this story before, but when I first started in radio, I worked at 590, and I was an intern producer for Frank Cusimano, and loved it. He's the greatest. He's a genuinely wonderful person. So I was really grateful to have that opportunity. But after I did my internship there, I would do some board work. I'd work the board for, it was 1190, I think it was KRFT. And it was Air America Radio, which doesn't exist anymore. I don't know why. No, I do know why. I listen to it every Craft. K-Raft. That was what the cool kids called it.
I thought maybe it was like a whitewater company that owned it.
I don't really know that anybody listened to it.
Okay.
It was so tiny Then when I actually got offered like a job, I was doing the morning shift, which was when we aired. I think we had ESPN radio for a while over there, but we had Stephen DC on over there for a while, and they were on a bunch of little syndicates across the country. So we had to be there to power up the station because it's a little AM station. And I think there were days in the darkest part of winter where I was manning the board for 2 hours before anybody could hear the radio station.
I worked my way up, but I was never at that level.
Oh, I don't look at internships or anything like that. I think it's a good process. There is nothing that you can do in media to be asked to do that is above board that I haven't been asked to do and had to do over the course of my time to get to where I am right now. And I never was really setting out to be like, one day I'll have my own show. That wasn't it at all. I don't know what I really thought was going to be the dream job. And I think I have my dream job. But I also know that this is probably not the last thing I'm going to do. That's not how this works. So I'm prepared for that. I'm preparing for that, whatever. Try to be nice to people. Try not to burn bridges. And try to keep broadening how I can reach out to people. That is one of the reasons why you'll see, Brad, you got connected with the show early on through our YouTube. Was YouTube the initial way you got connected?
Yeah, YouTube, and then I ended up creating a Twitter account.
And then you ended up producing the show.
Yeah.
Not many people doing the live stream the way we were doing it. And when I worked in digital for 97.1, because I've been with 97.1 since the very beginning of 2009, I wanted all the shows to do the stuff that I was doing, but it's just very difficult if you don't have the ability to understand intuitively how all this live stream stuff works and be willing to spend a lot of your own time on it. It's kind of ironic, but before I was on air full time, we had people in digital, we had people in promotions, we had people in marketing, we had all these different departments. Now, this is not just specific to Odyssey St. Louis. This is the way the business goes, and I am blessed to be here and grateful to be here. But if you want to do it, you better figure out a way to do it, and pretty much no one's going to tell you no. They're just going to say, go for it.
Yeah.
Good luck. So we have done, the three of us here specifically have done so much to try to broaden the reach of this show. And it's usually on our own time and our own dime, and that's just the nature of the business. We don't have to do it. Nobody is like, you've got to do all these things, but you got to do them by yourself. It's just like, if you want to overachieve, you're going to have to over try.
Yeah.
And we have tried to do that.
It's strange how this is the first time I've ever done talk radio. I've been here for 5 years now, so it's not as if it's brand new, but how much oversight there isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've never been at a company, even media companies, where there's this little oversight. It's because we are live, daily, long form. There is just no way for even multiple managers to always know. So they're just like, look, you got to manage your show. You do it. So like you said, if you want to grow it, you want to add streams, you want to.
And it's an exercise in freedom.
It absolutely is. I love it. That's one of the reasons I love being here, is just because you really do have the freedom to express your opinion as you see it, and really to expand your brand, if you want to call it that, in whatever way you see fit.
Yeah, you never have anybody come in here and tell us, hey, you have to talk about this, you can't talk about that. We never get any of that. And like you said, we get to expand our brand as we see fit. And some of the stuff that we've done here on the show, like our reels and our shorts on YouTube, we've watched that kind of expand into other shows. The other stations have picked that up. And speaking of YouTube, I set a goal at the beginning of the year, and this is really cool. We're at what, 8,100 or something like that, 8,100?
We have 8,115 subscribers.
And
That's grown since yesterday.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's awesome to watch. I mean, my goal for the whole year is 10,000 subscribers, to get us to that 10,000 mark. And like when I set that goal, I think we were at like 6,000 or 5,000 subscribers. So it was a lofty goal, but man, we're moving right along. I'm super excited about that. So if you know anybody that isn't subscribed to the Andy Fry YouTube,
Or if you have 6 more Google accounts.
Yeah, whatever. We'll take it.
It's really amazing to watch, as a snowball rolls down a hill, it gathers more snow by the time it gets to the bottom of the hill. It's a very big snowball.
What if there's no snow in the mid to bottom of the hill?
There is in this case, because what we're finding is that we started the year at the top of the hill, we're rolling and gathering people. So it's just this giant ball of people.
Arms and legs.
As it rolls over them, they're all attached to the ball.
Our subscriber count's going down. People are flying off.
Our people ball is going down?
It's time to take a break. Well, we appreciate you for being a part of this, and it's very wild. And I think that the whole idea of kind of being able to do some things that aren't like, you don't jump out of college and jump into your dream job. There's a lot of work that needs to go into that, and sometimes you make it, sometimes you don't. That is not just my story. That translates across a whole bunch of different fronts. So if you've experienced that, or if you're in the middle of that, keep going, keep pushing. And like I said, don't hold on too tightly. We are looking for your feedback, though. If you go to AnnieFryShow.com, that's something I've created. AnnieFryShow.com, there's a feedback menu item up there. And I'm opening this up to our on-air audience. We've done it with our on-stream audience before, but I'd really love to hear your feedback, your honest, open thoughts and opinions on the show, because that's how we can make it better. AnnieFryShow.com. Click on the feedback button, fill out the quick form. We'd love to hear from you. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Fry Show.
Flooring outlet. You find them online at igotfloored.com. Good people selling great flooring. And you go through their store if you're in person. They've got 3 locations for you to shop. Darting Prairie, you can find them in West County. That's in Olive Boulevard, just a mile off 270 West on Olive. They're in St. Charles County as well on Main Street. They're in Old Town St. Peter's at Mid Rivers and Highway 70. You go into Michael's Flooring Outlet, and they have great displays up for you. So you can really experience what that flooring might look like, feel like in your home. If you're looking for carpeting and you're thinking about the total investment, the budget, the quality of the carpet you're getting, the quality of the padding you're getting, you're going to be able to feel that and understand where that investment is headed. They're wonderful people, a family-owned and operated business, a longtime partner here on 97.1 and of the Annie Fry Show. We love sending good people like you to great people like him. So go to Michael's Flooring Outlet. You can find them in any of their 3 locations, or you can start shopping them online by going to igotfloored.com.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app. And never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Can Missouri Republicans trust Bill Eigel? President Trump doesn't. President Trump criticized Eigel for deceiving voters by using his image in campaign ads. Trump even threatened legal action against Eigel. Why does President Trump oppose Bill Eigel? It's because Eigel's campaign is bankrolled by the same rich liberals who are funding ads that attack Trump's record and character. Bill Eigel is a dishonest politician who is bought and paid for by never-Trumpers. There's a better choice. Conservative Republican Mike Kehoe is a businessman and job creator. Kehoe has a bold plan to provide relief to Missouri families who are getting crushed by Biden's inflation. As our governor, Mike Kehoe will eliminate the state income tax to put more money back in your pocket. Mike Kehoe is the conservative Republican we can trust.
Cops for Kehoe is responsible for the content of this advertising, paid for by Cops for Kehoe, and is not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-513-4444. 800-513-4444. 800-513-4444.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
There's Mike Kehoe's campaign bus that's owned by a Chinese lobbyist. Swampy Kehoe is hitching a ride after voting 4 times to sell Missouri farmland to China. Luckily, Trump-endorsed conservative Jay Ashcroft is tough on China. He led the charge to stop China from buying our farms. Call and thank Ashcroft for being China's worst enemy. 573-751-4936. Paid for by Stand for US PAC, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. StandForUS.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Want to listen to 97.1 outside the listening area? There's an app for that. Download the Odyssey app, and one tap will turn the station on. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk.
In the talking points, it's really fun to know what the talking points are, but not to be like out with these are the talking points so that the people expose themselves. And
yeah,
like,
you got to go one level under it.
You're one of them. Got it. Just filing it away.
And that one is a strange one. It just doesn't.
Like you didn't say weird.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's like they're trying to find something they couldn't really land on anything.
This is the side of the aisle that normalized weird.
Yeah. Well, that too.
And it makes sense though. Your dad shoe wearing family guy who wants the American dream of a house, a picket fence, and 2.5 kids is weird to these people. That's not a joke. It is weird. To achieve success in life and attribute it to something outside of yourself, to an accomplishment that exists because of something more and bigger than yourself, is weird. Good to know.
I wonder if the people who come up with this stuff, because it's not just Democrats, but man, it seems like I hear the Democrats do it more. Maybe it's just what we do, but when they come up with this stuff, I wonder if they think this is great. This is going to be so dynamic. It's going to change the race. Or if they're just like, no, this is what we do. We got to throw as much spaghetti at the wall as we can.
Dark
if
Brandon.
Something sticks. Yeah.
I was always like, okay.
With Dark Brandon?
Yeah. I mean, he could never pull it off. It happened about him, and he was napping.
Well, that's been almost everything, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why, I just didn't get it. For instance, Donald Trump's dancing. What is it? But it's iconic.
It is now.
And he dances like a goofball. And he's the president of the United States. Like, you would think that Donald Trump wouldn't do that as the president of the United States, but he does it every time.
Yeah.
Because the people love it. That's all there is to it. People love it. And everybody knows kind of how to do the right, left, punchy Trump dance thing. And nobody says it's a good dance, but everybody loves it. What is it? Name a single thing, one single thing that Biden did or does that everyone's like, it's just great when he does that.
Aviators.
That's not a thing that he does. That's something that someone can say, you're going to wear these.
Yeah, but I think it worked.
The Trump dance is personality.
That's very true.
You can't say, okay, Donald, this is what we want you to do. You're going to go right, and then you're going to go left, and then you're going to go right, and then you're going to get your hips in a little bit, and then you're going to crouch over and do it a little bit smaller, and everyone's going to go wild.
Yeah.
I mean, the aviators are a long-time signature thing of Joe Biden. But the aviators almost are a mockery of 2024 Joe Biden.
That's very true. And there's no campaign strategist, I think, is what you're saying, too. There's no campaign strategist going, you know what, Donald? We really need to add a dance. We think this will be great for your image.
He just entertains people.
He just does it.
People like him. I mean, Bill Clinton, can you kind of see him like the wink thing and the nod and the bite the lip thing? Bill Clinton had it. People
bite the lip thing.
But you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It just takes me back to 1997 SNL.
I feel your pain.
Yeah, I mean everybody was doing it.
But Joe Biden doesn't have any of that. He is a complete and total empty vessel. And then enter Kamala Harris, who is a younger, complete and total empty vessel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. The things that she does, people don't really like. And I'm not saying it. I don't. Her voice is grating to me. Her laugh is grating to me. But if she were saying things that I really believed in, I would still support her. I wouldn't not support her because there were certain parts about her that I don't like. I think that Donald Trump, when he gives a speech that he's really on script for, he has a monotone. It's a very actually kind of a soothing voice that is hard to stay awake. He keeps the same tone the entire time he's talking, and then he just keeps going, and then he never changes the tone, and then he just keeps going some more, and then I'm asleep. And then I don't know what happens next because I'm asleep.
Yeah.
Now, if he's not on script, he's all over the place. But I don't see charisma with Kamala Harris, and I certainly never saw it with Joe Biden. People are told you will accept them. And then there's a very large contingent of people that goes, okay, why am I going to accept him? Because he's not Trump. Good enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that pulls you across the finish line at the end. I do think that we have to, I heard today 7 or 8 points is where you need to, I think it was on Killmeat I was listening to him. They were talking about the potential VP pick for Kamala Harris and just, what ends up happening next. We've got to try to win some of these swing states way outside the margin of error. And if they're close, is the left going to challenge them?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah, they are.
And everybody on the right will be like, are you kidding me? And they're just going to go along like, of course we're going to challenge him. Why wouldn't we challenge him? Trump stole this election, and we did. I mean, that's exactly what's going to happen.
I hate that. The narrative is so strong, though. You're right, because that's what a lot of people. I think the couple points that have shifted toward Harris from Biden is because the narrative is more positive. It's just more. It's not that she's any better. The policies are literally no different. It's just that it's like, oh, it's just like fun again. This is cool again. And I hate that we are at a place where we're that close, where just that little twist could be enough.
I don't think that it's hey, this is fun again. I think it's a group of people that were really not enthusiastic. They were just beaten down by Joe Biden. And that debate performance by him was an absolute body blow. They watched that and said, we have lost this election. And what you're seeing now, this little bump, this boost, is like they got that last-minute phone call from the governor, and they got a reprieve. So you're telling me there's a chance. And that's all this is a chance. Because like you were saying, everything else is the same.
I'm not sold that Kamala is going to be the person.
Yeah, wow.
I'm more confident that Kamala is going to be the nominee than not. I was more confident that Joe Biden wasn't going to be. I was 100% convinced that there is no way that they would run Joe because the only thing that matters is winning, and he wasn't going to win. So whatever happens, happens. I'm 50-50 that Kamala is the person. If Trump goes out and spends a bunch of money against Kamala Harris for 2 or 3 weeks, and then they change it again at the convention, because that's a week away, that's a strategy. I just don't trust anything that anybody is out there doing. Precedent doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter who wins the November election. The other side will not accept it. Kamala Harris could win this next election fair and square, and Trump supporters will not accept it. We'll all have our questions. We've had our questions. It's never been addressed in an open, upfront, honest way. It's always been secretive, clandestine, and very vitriolic. It's always had a lot of political slander that precedes any sort of facts. Because I don't think we have honest brokers that are interested in truth. We're only interested in the manipulation of truth. And that just causes everybody to question everything, where maybe 2020 was completely accurate. Maybe there's always fraud in every election. And maybe there was no more extra fraud in last election as there was in any other. And Joe Biden is absolutely rightfully the president of the United States. And maybe in this next election, Donald Trump's going to become the president because somehow or another the Republicans figure out how to steal it. I mean, these are all things that are on the table as possibility to be true, but nobody's going to trust anything because we don't have honest brokers in the media. They're partners with the people who are in power, and they're only concerned about keeping that power. So you can't trust anything.
And it's never been more obvious.
Yeah, it's like accepted.
Yeah, that's really disappointing. It should not be according to party. Flip the script and say this were Donald Trump. It was his first term. He's clearly not got all his marbles by the end of his term. Would you be coming on the radio and being like, he's fine? He's fine. Of course you wouldn't.
If I were in their position, I would be saying Joe Biden at any level is better for the future of the country than Donald Trump. That would be my case. Because I would not be able to, in good conscience and with honesty and integrity, say that I can't keep up with him. And Kamala Harris,
yes,
the person who's running for the presidency right now, who's the presumptive nominee, was just a hot second ago bullcrapping all of us as if we're supposed to just be spoon-fed what we need to know right now about the president of the United States. Obviously, that's not true. And if it's not true, how is he running the country? We don't know because we don't see him. He's nowhere to be found. If there is as much of an understanding of what is going on as I assume that there is, I think that this administration and all of the people who've been behind propping it up, Kamala Harris is in the front of the line. I think it's treasonous. Mm-hmm. And I think that if we had an honest media, we would be able to call that out. I think that if the honest media would have called it out, the Democrats would have a better candidate to run right now. If they would have been honest when the honesty was necessary, they wouldn't have to figure out how to make Kamala work. The definition of treason is the crime of betraying one's country, especially by attempting to kill the sovereign or overthrow the government. And if you're trying to take away the selection of who will represent us in our government in this country by manipulating the system to keep your people in, that's pretty much like an overthrow of the government because you're overthrowing the will of the people. And you've got all the parties involved to partner with you in the deception. So come November, somebody's going to win the election. We'll find out at some point that somebody won the election and the other side's going to go bonkers and not believe it. I mean, that's like the one guarantee for Election Day.
And it is because everybody knows that they're being lied to so much.
Yeah. Which when you're being told the truth, Why would you believe it?
Yeah, it's hard.
You can't decipher.
You almost have to you have to make it your full-time job. Thank God we do this. To sift through to find what's actually true. And that's if you're lucky, because it's really hard. They don't give you full access. You can't always find it yourself. But you have to make it your life's goal to find the truth if you're going to search. And most people don't have that kind of time.
And you get burned out on it so quickly.
Yeah, because it's constant.
So quickly. It disgusts people, and they have lives to lead. The situation has to be so dire that they are forced to pay attention. And the economy that people are living in right now has done that. Let's take a quick break. We'll get the results of the poll when we come back. The YouTube live chat poll for today. Who do you support from Missouri? I appreciate Cassins very much, because when I turn you over to Cassins for your next car purchase, I know you're in the best of hands. The sales staff at Cassins have been there for a long time. They do not have high turnover. They have people who have sold. I mean, I think I bought a car from Holly maybe 15 years ago, maybe longer than that. It's great to be able to work with people who are going to bring you back the next time, because you're going to enjoy the experience you had with them. It's important to feel like you've been treated with honesty. That's kind of what we've been talking about, and respect. And you're going to get that at Cassins & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. I drive a Chrysler Pacifica. My husband drives a Jeep Grand Cherokee L, and they're wonderful vehicles. We get them taken care of at Cassins, and I encourage you to check them out for your next car purchase as well. You can call them directly at 618-800-2712. You can visit them online at cassinscan.com. That's cassinscan.com. Whether you're looking for a new vehicle, whether you're looking for a great used vehicle, a reliable vehicle, but you definitely require great customer service, very fair pricing, and a relationship with somebody who you can know and trust, Cassins will answer that call every single time. 618-800-2712, cassinscan.com.
Hey homeowners, it's time to transform your house into a masterpiece with Lakeside Renovation and Design, your James Hardie siding experts. Picture this: durable, weather-resistant siding that doesn't just protect, but elevates your home's value and curb appeal. James Hardie, the gold standard in siding, installed by the pros at Lakeside. Say goodbye to maintenance headaches and hello to a home that stands the test of time. Ready for a siding upgrade? Lakeside Renovation and Design is your go-to. Visit our showroom or call today. Unleash the potential of your home with James Hardie Siding.
During the COVID years, I was very disappointed by weak leadership dictating COVID tyranny and ridiculous, nonsensical rules. We had lost over 300,000 school days in St. Charles County that the children will never get back. The closing of businesses and mandates were unconstitutional and complete government overreach. I will always fight for your constitutional rights and your God-given freedoms and liberty. I'm Joe Browse, and I'm running for St. Charles County Council District 2. Vote August 6th. Thank you, and I approve this message.
Paid for by citizens for Joe Brazel, Mike Summers, Treasurer.
Hello, Missouri. I'm Jamie Corley, a fifth-generation Missourian and conservative outsider running for Secretary of State. The swamp establishment has embarrassed our state for too long. I'll fight to protect our values, support President Trump, and bring integrity back to Missouri. Join me, Jamie Corley, in this fight for real change. Vote for a proud Missourian who will always stand up for you. Paid for by Jamie Corley from Missouri, Mary C. Walsh, Treasurer.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special, only $49.99. Seminars Wednesday, August 14th at the 4 Points by Sheraton, St. Louis, Fairview Heights. In Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 p.m.
Hey, this is an important poll for you. We live in Illinois. Who do you support for Missouri governor? Ashcroft, Eigel, Kehoe, or someone else? Or do you not live in Missouri? That's all those are all options for you. We'll give you the results of this poll in just a minute. Type in Annie Fry into YouTube, and you can vote yourself. $2.50 right now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. Former President Trump sat down with the National Association of Black Journalists today. It did not go extremely well. We'll have the details and the audio coming up here, starting at 3 after Fox News.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Call it magic. Call it true. Call it magic.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. The YouTube live chat poll for today, who do you support for Missouri governor? Do you guys have any strong feeling as to how this is going to go? Because it's hard to weigh actuality with the frequency of commercial spots that you hear and social media noise and so on and so forth.
Man, it is really tough to know how this is going to go. I don't know. I know that for a while they were saying that Kehoe is leading, and then they've been saying that Eigel's made some serious inroads, but Ashcroft has the biggest statewide name recognition, and he's certainly right there too. So I have no idea. I really don't.
You have any thoughts, Brad?
I haven't looked at polls. I don't know. I don't know where it is. I think this race is really interesting because you've got like 3 separate lanes that everybody's running in, and it's kind of the 3 main portions of what the GOP is as a party. You've got your outsider party, outsider lane, like Eigel. You've got your, established Republican Lieutenant Governor Kehoe, and then in the middle you've got Jay Ashcroft, who has that outsider mentality, that conservative mentality, but he's also knows how things work on the inside. So you've got 3 different things. It's just really fascinating to watch. Be honest with you, Missouri, I'm super jealous. I live in Illinois, and I look at, I'm like, man, if I had 3 candidates like that.
Yeah. The Emerson College polling, which is the most recent one on Real Clear Politics, it was a June poll, mid-June, June 21st, has Ashcroft at 23%, Kehoe at 20%, Eigel at 6%. And this was the one that had been cited a lot leading into the debate that we had and everything. I can only imagine that a lot of this has dramatically changed. It says, as part of from EmersonCollegePolling.com, Kehoe's strength is older voters. 26% of voters over 60 support Kehoe, while 18% support Ashcroft. Ashcroft performs best with voters in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, 31% of whom support Ashcroft, while 15% support Kehoe. In the November presidential election, 53% of Missouri voters support former President Donald Trump, 40% support Joe Biden, 7% are undecided. In that Emerson College poll, where Ashcroft has a 3-point lead on Mike Kehoe, and then Bill Eigel is at 6%, I don't think that that's reflective at all of the current situation. Undecided was 46%. So undecided
Wow, that's huge.
Which is why I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. I tell you what, though, when I was driving down to Springfield and Branson about 2 weeks ago, it was the weekend of the attempted Trump assassination, I saw a lot of signs. So you get out of St. Louis, I didn't see a lot of Eigel signs outside of this area because I don't think he's as well known outside of the St. Louis area. Could you carry it with just St. Louis? I don't know, but I saw more Ashcroft and Kehoe signs the further I got away from this area.
The poll, which if you hurry, you can go vote in today's poll. Who do you support for Missouri Governor? Ashcroft, Eigel, Kehoe, or somebody else, or you're not in Missouri? Those are your options. Illinois doesn't do anything. We'll have, obviously, congressional races. We don't have anybody running for Senate this time around. It's a very quiet election cycle in the state of Illinois. I am very interested to see. We talk all the time about the presidential election, and that has a great bearing on what happens down ballot. But there are a lot of opportunities locally at your county level to make dramatic differences by turning your county red or securing your county to be red. Important to get involved and to participate in those systems. I want to encourage you to check out the podcast from yesterday. Scott Pressler was on with us, and he's so positive. Even on his X profile, he just is persistently positive. People say the meanest things to him, and he always kills them with kindness. His early action vote, I keep talking about maybe going to Wisconsin or something and trying to spend 3 days or something, 2 nights, 3 days, go to Wisconsin and try to register voters or something. Would that be fun?
That'd be a
I think
blast.
it would be amazing. Yeah.
I don't know if we could road trip that.
We could try. Let's just do it. We were just talking earlier.
Oh.
We just do whatever we want
Yeah.
and ask for permission later.
We were just talking about this earlier, and this is exactly how these things happen.
Yeah.
Do you want to go to Wisconsin?
I do, as long as we can go to the Dells and I can do some of the fun stuff.
I'd rather go to Arizona, but I'm not road tripping Arizona with you.
That's a long
That's
way.
a long drive.
That's a long time. But we could do Wisconsin. It's like 6 or 7 hours.
Yeah, if you want to go just over the border.
You can get the border
Or
in
that,
5.
you can get there in 5, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's get the results of today's poll. Who do you support for Missouri governor? Jay Ashcroft, Bill Eigel, Mike Kehoe, or someone else, or you're not in Missouri? We have a real majority here. Bill Eigel gets 51%. So the
Okay.
Annie Fry Show audience out there with about 250 votes. Bill Eigel coming in hot with 51%. And then from there, Jay Ashcroft, 15%. Mike Kehoe, 12%. So he maintains his 3-point lead over Mike Kehoe. Someone else, or you're not in Missouri, 22%. Thank you for voting today. We appreciate it. Don't go away. Mark Reardon on 97.1 FM Talk next.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right, nice, soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25